just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagine.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. One Dallas Cowboys drama ends today. Wideout CeeDee Lamb has a new 4-year contract that starts next year. The story first reported by ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Dallas always wanted to re-sign CeeDee. He always wanted to be back in Dallas. They just could not come to a meeting on a common number. Well, today they figured that out. 4-year deal, $136 million, $38 million signing bonus.
Adam Schefter, this new deal pays Lamb $34 million a year, second only to Justin Jefferson of the Vikings among wideouts. The Seahawks make a trade today to get pass rusher Trevis Gibson from the Jaguars. Jacksonville gets a 6th-round pick. Seattle's Uchenna Nwosu will miss 2 to 6 weeks with a knee sprain. Tuesday is final cuts day. Rosters will be down to 53 players by 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Wisconsin defensive lineman James Thompson Jr. could miss the entire season after surgery for what the team's calling an upper body injury.
Hey, it's Courtney Cronin. Coming up Tuesday on Unsportsmanlike, the drama continues to swirl around Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Will they get everything figured out before Week 1? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
New season, new day, new imaging. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. Oh, we don't have a tail? Oh, no. Gotta fix that news.
I just realized that.
Gotta fix that.
Thought it was long enough when I was going through it originally.
My goodness gracious. I'm going to roll out new imaging. The Open has to have a tail. What are we doing?
Well, it had one, just not.
Clearly
not long enough there.
All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. John Stinchcomb next hour. The Saints wrap up their preseason cut down day. You got to get down by tomorrow afternoon, down to 53. Brian Kelly met with reporters today. It's game week for LSU-USC. What in the world else are we talking about? Let's go.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Ooh, kind of like that, Muse. What do you think?
That one threw me off. I'm not going to lie.
They're all
I wasn't ready for it. I was like, did I hit the wrong button?
No, man. There it is. Long story short, this we launched this show almost 15 years ago, and we have never changed imaging in almost 15 years. And I'm the program director now, and I was like, I can do whatever I want. So that's what I did. I was like, you know what? I love it's like you have your house, and when you buy your house and you move in, and you choose the color and for the paint, and you choose your window treatments and all that, and then you love it. And then 15 years later, you're like, you know what? I'm tired of looking at the same thing. I want a different color. I want some new window treatment. So you do that. And that's what we did. So we changed the imaging. We'll figure. There's probably some bumps and stuff like that, but I love it. So feedback would be welcome. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for being here with us, y'all. It's game week. LSU, Southern Cal. This is a game that has been in the works for years. And now, after years of talking about this game in Vegas to open the 2024 football season, we are now just days away, 6 days away from LSU, Southern Cal in the desert. We'll be there. I'm fired up for it. Brian Kelly today met with reporters on Monday, as he will every Monday heretofore on game week, previewing his team's game that week. I should say next Monday is actually Labor Day, so Brian Kelly won't be meeting with reporters on Monday, so it'll be Tuesday next week. But after that, every Monday. The most newsworthy thing that Brian Kelly had to say was updating injuries. You might recall that a week ago, Kelly told us there were 4 key players that were battling some form of injury. Sage Ryan with a hamstring, Chris Hilton with a bone bruise, Miles Frazier with an ankle, and West Weeks with a foot. He had a foot. I don't know if you knew that, but West Weeks had a foot.
Just one.
Just a foot.
Just
That's
one
it.
foot?
He had a foot.
Okay.
Just had a foot. Here was BK with the injury update.
We have one guy that is questionable, and that's Chris Hilton. He has a bone bruise. He is working through that process. Probable would be Frazier, our offensive guard. Those are the two right now that would show up on our injury report.
For what it's worth, Kelly said that if Hilton couldn't go, that Kyle Parker would get those reps. Kyle Parker, a second-year player, has had a really good fall camp. He wears number 12. That's a guy that LSU fans need to get to know. So now you're starting to see, as you make it through 3 weeks of fall camp, how some of that depth chart, the pecking order, starts to fall. We know Kyron Lacey, C.J. Daniels, Chris Hilton, that's your top three. Of course, Aaron Anderson, Xavier Thomas are going to be more that slot, jet sweep, a lot of that action. Certainly in the short, intermediate passing game out in space. But clearly Kyle Parker has distinguished himself as a young guy taking that step at receiver and would get those reps if Hilton isn't able to go. It's also a tough break for Hilton, who was injured on an amazing catch. They were running 7-on-7 2 Saturdays ago, and he came back to a ball. He fought through contact from Jordan Allen to make a touchdown reception in the front left corner of the end zone. They got tangled a little bit, so he obviously suffered that bone bruise, which has kept him out, so he's questionable as of right now. Miles Frazier with the ankle injury. Brian Kelly did say he'd be moving around today. They're hoping that he responds well and is able to go. If Frazier can't go, it would be Tyree Adams. So again, you're starting to figure out. So Tyree Adams, we've predominantly seen at left tackle behind Will Campbell, but when Frazier went out, Tyree Adams went to right guard. So if you're just looking at getting your 5 best guys on the field, who are your 5 best guys? Well, clearly they see Tyree Adams as number 6 after your first starters. So save the center position. Obviously, Tyree Adams isn't going to play center. You'd either have to make a decision. Do you put Cohen Eccles in? Do you move Dellinger to center? Hopefully, we'd never have to get the answer to that question. Hopefully, they stay really healthy and you see your 5 best guys out there all year, but Tyree Adams clearly would be next. There's really 2 questions surrounding this game, and it's how much has the defense improved, and can you finally win a friggin' opener? Let's start with the defense. This is number 9, Muse, if we could. Brian Kelly was asked, so here you are. You've changed your defensive coordinator. You've changed your defensive staff. You've brought in some transfers at each level of the defense. So through fall camp, here you are, week of the opener. How much better are you?
This is all about how do they look against scripted plays and limited opportunities. And I know that our football team and the guys that we have feel really good about where they're at. But you got to go test yourself, against somebody else to really be able to answer those questions. I know going in that we're prepared defensively. Our guys are excited about playing for Blake. I know that they get the scheme very well. There's not a lot of confusion. There's not a lot of busts. There's guys that clearly understand what it is to play LSU football.
As we move throughout the week, we're going to have all of these very nuanced conversations about this game. But one of the things that we will explore this week is the challenge of Lincoln Riley. Because there can be coexisting realities, right? 2 things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. And they could be, LSU could be improved defensively, and you could have a really, really tall task on Sunday because it's Lincoln Riley. I'll remind you, and I get they had Caleb Williams, but USC averaged 41 points a game last year. So yes, it's a new quarterback. Yes, there's some new weapons offensively. But it is so fair to mention the guy calling the plays everywhere he's been as a coordinator, as Oklahoma's coordinator, head coach, now at SC, they move the ball, they score points. So even if LSU's improved, I don't know that we're going to see a tremendous amount of that manifest on Sunday night because Lincoln Riley's calling plays and USC's offense is really good and they're going to move the ball and score points. Can you get enough stops is really going to be the question. Make them earn it is kind of what I'm hoping for. Don't allow the 16-yard reception to become a 60-yard house call. That will be, I think, pretty apparent on Sunday. The other thing, y'all, LSU, you know this story by now. You know the song and dance. LSU has lost 4 consecutive openers. It is nauseating to think about and to watch. But as you go through time, these last 4 years, you lost to Mississippi State 44-34 in the COVID year. You lost to UCLA 38-27 out in the Rose Bowl. You lost to Florida State in Brian Kelly's first game, 24-23, when obviously you had the PAT blocked. And you lost last year to Florida State 45-24, where it got away from you in the fourth quarter. 4 straight season openers, 4 straight L's. What do you do this year? Brian Kelly was asked, could he take anything from those losses to help him Sunday against Southern Cal?
In one instance, those games that they played against Florida State, they're going to help them in this opener. You know, there's a lot of guys that have some of those battle scars from previous openers and understand what it takes to win an opener on both sides of the ball, whether it's Harold Perkins or whether it's Will Campbell. They both were here for that. Like I said, I think you take away experiences. Those guys are leaders for this team. They've been there, done that. That doesn't mean everybody has, but they certainly impact what we do on a day-to-day basis, and they're going to impact Sunday in terms of how we play.
By the way, there's a really good write-up at LouisianaSports.net right now from our guy Hunt Palmer about LSU trying to snap this skid in the openers. You can go to LouisianaSports.net. You'll see it. It's right there at the top of the homepage or on mobile, LouisianaSports.net. Brian Kelly is right. If there is one pretty glaring difference defensively with SC's defense and LSU's defense, I get they're not going to be on the field at the same time, but both are facing very similar challenges. Replacing your defensive coordinator, replacing your defensive staff, trying to get back to respectability. The big difference is 10 of 11 of USC's projected starters are transfers. Almost every player on the 2 deep is a transfer at SC. So not only is it new defensive coordinator, new scheme, it's also new roster, by and large. Yes, LSU has added transfers. You've added JVR Suggs. You've added Gio Paez. You've added Jordan Gilbert. So you have transfers here. Jair Brown, who's going to play a lot for you in nickel. But there's also a lot of guys that have been here. I know Braden Swinson and Parrish Shand, guys like that are transfers. Jalen Lee are transfers. But they've been here. And that's Jacobian Guillory, who's played his whole career. Harold Perkins, Savion Jones, Ashton Stamps, Jordan Allen, West Weeks, who was a transfer, but again has been here now 3 years. Whit Weeks. These are all guys that have been here. They've been through this. They've played with each other. So there is some degree of continuity there with guys who have been here. So maybe if there's an edge for LSU defensively, it falls there. That, yeah, it's a new system, new scheme, new coaches, but you still have a lot of the same players in place. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing from a defense that was atrocious a year ago, we'll find out on Sunday night. But Brian Kelly previewing the match. We're into game week. We're excited about it. We're wheels up to Vegas on Thursday. Excited for all of our content there as well. We hope you'll follow along. All right. It's After Further Review. Show open brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Y'all, I had a conversation earlier today with my friends over at Mockler. Get this. If you are going to Las Vegas and you don't yet have tickets or you're potentially looking for an upgrade, you have got to come to AFR Friday at Mandalay Bay, at the sports book inside of Mandalay Bay, because I have 6 tickets. I have 3 pair of tickets from our friends at Mockler and Bud Light that we are giving away in Vegas. You obviously have to be there. You have to be there to win, and we'll tell you throughout the week how you can win and how you can enter to win. But if you're going to be in Vegas, you don't have tickets yet, or maybe you want an upgrade, we can hook you up. Make sure you come see us for AFR Friday at Mandalay Bay in the sports book in Las Vegas. We're looking forward to it. And, of course, make sure as you're watching the Tigers, you got plenty of the official beer of the LSU Tigers, Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of the Tigers. Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Quick break. Jay Cicero, the president CEO of the New Orleans Sports Foundation, will be in studio with us next. The NFL season is getting ready to kick off, and this is a man partly responsible for bringing the Super Bowl to the Crescent City. What can we expect here as the NFL season just a little more than a week away from kicking off? Excited to have Jay Cicero in studio with us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions, Glow Resources. Hey, listen, if your business, now listen, we get it. June and July, especially in these parts, people are gone. You're doing the beach thing. You're doing whatever it is that you do to travel during the summer. By the time August hits and school's back in, boom, everybody's back to normal life. That means getting back to your business as well. And if you're looking, how do we finish Q3 strong? How do we make sure that Q4 is on fire leading into the end of the year? You need the right people. And if you struggle to find the right people, you need Glow Resources. GlowResources.com, G-L-O, GlowResources.com. Yes, they specialize in skilled blue-collar labor, but they also have a professional placement division. Any type of white-collar office job that you're trying to fill, they can find the people to make you more efficient. It's Glow Resources. Online, G-L-O, GlowResources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Well, it's been far too long for us to be able to have this conversation. Jay Cicero, the president CEO of the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation, is in studio because the Super Bowl, at last, after a dozen years, after Beyonce knocked out the lights, is finally coming back to the Dome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. It's always our pleasure. It's an exciting time. I mean, with the season a little more than a week away from kickoff, what is your life and schedule like? Is the hay in the barn already?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's been crazier this year than ever. This is my fourth Super Bowl to play a managerial role in. 97, 02, 2013, and now it'll be 12 years later,
Sure.
6 months from now, in 2025. But normally it kicks off, and what it's been like since January 1st is normally what happens in September when football season starts. It has been crazy this year, and I've never seen such enthusiasm for Super Bowl. You're pumped up. You're always pumped up, but you're pumped up about it. And everybody else seems to have the same enthusiasm about this this time around.
What one of the questions I want to get into a lot of what's going to happen around it between now and then, what's going to happen around the event, but quite flatly, what took so long? Why did it take a dozen years? Was it just new stadiums around the NFL?
It was new stadiums around the NFL, and we actually bid on 2018, which was the tricentennial of the city of New Orleans.
I remember. We
had Harry Connick Jr. to rewrite a song for us for our bid. We went all out, and we were bidding against Minneapolis in their new stadium, and it ended up trumping us. And we knew at that point in time, whenever we were going to bid against a new stadium, that we were probably going to lose. And then we bid a year later against Los Angeles, who had a new stadium, and Miami and a significantly renovated stadium, and we knew. And they went ahead and awarded those two also. So we knew going into that one we were probably going to lose. The one against Minnesota, we thought we had it hands down. We had one heck of a bid going into it.
Oh, you and I talked before that. I mean, just the bid presentation that you all made with was there a box that was a gift display that you gave to everybody on the committee?
We did, all the owners. It's the NFL owners who make the decision on where a Super Bowl is awarded. And so you have to get a majority of the 31. You got your own owner,
right.
You have to get the majority of the rest of them to make it work. And it, we went all out, but it was the new stadium and their owner standing up and we heard from the Saints, their owner standing up saying, "I voted for you in your new stadium, and you got a Super Bowl. I voted for you in your new stadium, I got a Super Bowl, and now it's my turn." And that carried the day.
Well. All that is water under the bridge at this point. The Super Bowl is coming back where it belongs in February. It'll be in New Orleans. We're all insanely biased, but for all the reasons we talk about, the hotel rooms, the restaurants, the walkability of downtown, of the CBD in the quarter, it's going to be awesome. So take me into now to the game. What are you all doing?
Well, we've been fundraising for 2.5 years now. That's the main piece of what it takes. You have to do private fundraising. There's some public fund support that comes from the state of Louisiana also. So that is a really big piece of what the early phases are. We have a chairman, Marcus Brown from Entergy Corporation. He's fantastic, and we've named all the committee chairs. We have 16 committee chairs and co-chairs who are involved with preparing for those 2 weeks leading up to February 9th. And the preparations from the city preparations, the facility preparations. There's a $500 million renovation that's happened at the Superdome. That's incredible. There's a $20 or $30 million infrastructure improvements that the governor and the mayor are working together to head up in and around the Superdome and downtown. That'll be here for years to come. If you've been around the dome, you know it's pretty much torn up around there the last 2 months. And it'll be like that for another 2 months. But it's going to be improvements that are going to be there for a number of years to come.
Is that going to cause challenges for home games this year for the Saints?
Well, they had the first game yesterday, the preseason game.
Sure.
And it wasn't too bad because it was a preseason game.
Yeah,
but I think
the
first home game it probably will.
Yeah. Well, it's, as I say, you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, but it's something that needs to be done. And you're right, will be enjoyed. The improvements will be enjoyed for a long time. Jay Cicero is in studio with us, the president and CEO of the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation. Super Bowl 59 is coming to New Orleans, which is amazing to think, man. It's awesome. Everything looks so good. You handed me this lapel pin earlier as well. We got the logo. You want to explain the significance? Is this the logo we're going to see on this lapel pin, or what's your back screen?
That's the game logo.
That's the game logo.
This is the host committee logo.
Let me
so
see
the
if I can
NFL
find this
allows
one.
you to, if you can pull it up, that'd be great. The NFL allows you to create a separate host committee mark. Right, which you use that to raise funds, and we got a local group to design this for us, and it's really incredible. We love it. And
there it is. Thank you,
If you
Paul.
can see, I got the music elements.
Let
drum.
the video producer do the video thing that he knows how to do well. Yeah.
That's
So I'm
right.
sorry. Go ahead.
And the horns, of course, and then just the whole feel of it. So you've got some symbolism in this logo here. The 11 dots on the drum represent the 11 Super Bowls in New Orleans. And then the laces on the football, the 8 laces on the football represent the 8th in the Louisiana Superdome. So there's a little hidden meaning in all this, but nothing speaks New Orleans more than this logo. We love it. We've been using it. The game logo is great. The NFL said, you need to use your logo a lot more. And we're like, we're fine with that.
Yeah, of course.
This is great.
And actually, like the sort of the football, the laces on the ball almost look like the crest at the top of the dome as well.
That was
Okay,
intentional.
Good. Good. Whoever designed it, you can tell them that I noticed it because it is very cool.
It's a company out of New Orleans, Boombox.
That's awesome. Well, congrats to them. That's phenomenal. You mentioned fundraising. What do you just for my own ignorance, what do you need to fundraise for at this point?
Well, we actually made the bid in 2018 for 2024. We'll get into why 24 versus 25 now in a minute. But when you make a bid for major events, whether it's the Final Four, WrestleMania, Women's Final Four, NBA All-Star, you have to commit to do what every other city commits to do. And when you do that, there's expenses associated with that. So for us, it's millions and millions of dollars worth of expense, and we have to fundraise privately and publicly to be able, public fund support also, but privately mainly, and that's what takes so long. You have to get private corporations like Entergy and Chevron and Ochsner and others that are involved with the host committee as sponsors to step up and really provide the funding necessary to offset the expenses.
That is, and by all means, please mention your sponsor. I understand the necessity of that. So please, if there's other businesses you have to thank, please do that. I always get in this conversation, Jay, and I know there's always pushback about, if the state or municipalities should provide, public funding for sports or things. The thing, like, I'm very, very squarely in your corner. I would say, like, people don't view sports oftentimes the same way you would if you're trying to put together a package to incentivize, let's say, like an automobile plant, to come to your state that's going to create jobs and generate revenue for the economy. This is no different. The business just happens to be sports, but it's an international stage, and it's an amazing opportunity. You do it 100 times out of 100 when you can. So crunch some of the numbers for me as best you all know. What are you anticipating as far as economic impact for the Super Bowl to the state?
Well, it's very large. Back in 2013, it was a $480 million economic impact.
Wow.
And so it's 11 years now, but 12 years later, it's going to, be way over $500 million.
I've heard inflation's pretty big too.
Yeah. Things are more expensive than they were a few years ago, for sure. But the revenue to cover that's also more expensive. More revenue. But that when you talk about a $500 million or more return on investment for public fund support, there's no better vehicle than the Super Bowl, because they do allow you to raise private funds to help offset some of these costs and allow you to create a marketing efforts for programs that we have in order to be able to raise the funds. So, they're much more advanced than some other groups who are more tight and don't allow you to raise private funds. So the ability to do that really, and within parameters, of course, really allows you to do some special things.
A couple more for you. We got Jay Cicero here for just a couple more minutes. President CEO of the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation. Super Bowl 59 is coming to New Orleans this February. Fired up to have the game back. What are some of the events around the Super Bowl that you're obviously going to have people from all over the world come into New Orleans for the game, but what about for people who are here that they'll be able to see and enjoy and do? What are some of the things that we can anticipate?
Well, there'll be the Super Bowl experience, which was the NFL experience before, and there'll be opening night at the Superdome this time around, which was the media day.
Right.
Normally.
Yeah. I love that they did that. Do you like that
great.
change? Yeah.
It's great. It's going to be family pricing on both of those events,
cool.
Which is
very
great.
good.
But the main way for the general public to get involved is to volunteer. We have the need for over 5,000 volunteers. And it's NOLASuperbowl.com, and those volunteers are Chevron Ambassador Program. You said mention our sponsors.
Yeah, please
Chevron stepped up.
Yeah, for those watching, here's the screen. When you go to the website, just scroll down. There's the volunteer page right there.
They are at Chevron ambassadors for us for this program. We need over 5,000 folks to sign up. We've got over 2,500 already, so that's good. We need 5,000 to sign up, and then they'll be assigned. Not only at the airport, you can imagine meet and greet at the airport, but they're going to be assigned downtown also.
Okay.
And we'll have people not only just wayfinding, but we'll probably do. We're planning on doing some different things like relying on the history of Super Bowl in New Orleans and really diving into that there'll be some games you can play on your phone about the history of Super Bowl in New Orleans and win prizes.
So cool.
So it's going to be really unique and fun, and we're very excited about it.
But before you go, the website looks great. Would highly recommend. Say it again, Jay. I have it pulled up. What's the URL?
NOLASuperBowl.com.
Easy enough. NOLASuperBowl.com. NOLASuperBowl.com. I went to the Great New Orleans Sports Foundation website. It links through to there as well if you want to check it out there. There's a ton about the history of the Super Bowl. It's a great website if you want to learn more. I'm always excited whenever our state gets to be put on display for anything, sports events or whatever it may be. So Super Bowl is huge when it's in New Orleans, and every time you turn on any national TV outlet or whatever, you're going to see just so much coverage of the city and the state, which is awesome. For you, just on a personal level, being that you said this is your fourth, or this is your fifth.
Fourth. That's my fourth.
This is your fourth. What gets you excited as a New Orleanian, as a Louisianian, to be able to bring the Super Bowl to New Orleans?
You know, I still love the people associated with it, and when you see outsiders like the NFL or the NCAA or AAU, whoever it is we're dealing with to bring an event to New Orleans and managing the event, the ability to see them light up when they see the cooperation and the teamwork and what New Orleans does. And we have a saying within the host committee, it's what we do. That's our theme. It's what we do, because after 11 Super Bowls, nothing proves that more.
No doubt.
And that's really what we like to emphasize. We're a very service-oriented organization. And, you know, it's the Saints and the Sports Foundation at the top of the food chains, basically, for the host committee. And then everybody else in our 16 committees. And Marcus Brown from Entergy is our chair. And everybody is involved in a number of different ways. So we've got 16 committees, over 1,000 people working on this, actively getting ready for those 2 weeks.
I mean, it is a massive. Obviously, it's the Super Bowl. I mean, it's massive, but it's so much more than just, hey, come and have a game in New Orleans. But it's going to be really cool. I can't thank you enough for the time today. However, we can be a resource. Always reach out. We're happy to help. Is there anything else people need to know before you jet?
Just go to NOLASuperBowl.com and sign up to be a volunteer. We also have a honors luncheon coming up. We're honoring Mr. and Mrs. Benson.
Very cool.
Here, and the commissioner's going to be here on stage with us, helping honor them.
NOLASuperBowl.com. NOLASuperBowl.com. Jay's going to be like all over the state here. Didn't you tell me you're going to Monroe next?
I'll be in Monroe this evening.
This evening. All right. Make sure you fuel up the jet. Jay, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt.
It's our pleasure. Stick around. Around the SEC is next.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Action Industries. I had a great convo earlier today with my buddy Chuck over at Action Industries, and y'all know it is turnaround season right now. And our friends over at Action Industries, they need people, so please listen up. They have 2 turnarounds coming up. They need 100 to 125 people. It's month-long turnarounds, 4 to 5 weeks, and you're working 7/12s. So welders, pipe fitters, boiler makers, crane operators. You've heard me talk about Action Industries. Again, putting out the call. They need 100 to 125 people for these 2 turnarounds that are coming up, 4 to 5 week, month-long turnarounds. You're working 7/12s. If trying to make that money before football season starts, before hunting season starts, here's your chance to do it at Action Industries. Action, INDINC.com. They also have some really big projects coming that are year-long projects as well. Get in now. Action, INDINC.com for Action Industries.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Crews here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Glad you're rolling along with us here. Thanks to Jay Cicero, who was here just a smidge ago. We'll talk plenty about the Super Bowl as we get closer to it, of course, of this football season. But it was an opportunity. Jay's traveling the state. He was going to be in town. He said he could jump in studio. I was like, come on, absolutely. So appreciate a couple of minutes there. John Stinchcomb in 45 minutes from right now. Of course, John was on the call for the Saints and the Titans Sunday in the Dome. I'm excited to have John with us because if you remember, when was that? When did we have John Muse? It was after the draft. It was after the draft because we talk about Taliesin Fuanga.
Yeah, you're talking about like the right tackle thing?
Yeah. So
yeah, it was after the draft. I can't remember when.
Sometime in April, probably. Mm-hmm. And if you remember John Stinchcomb's career, of course, he was the starting right tackle on the Super Bowl team. When he was drafted out of Georgia, he was a high second-round pick. Like he was in the 30s, I want to say, maybe the 40th pick. He was a high second-round pick. And his first 2 years were basically a wash. Some injury issues, struggled to get on the field. But by the time year 3 came and he figured it out, he became a really good right tackle. I think he made a Pro Bowl, was the starting right tackle on the Super Bowl team. He figured it out. So the whole thing was talking to John then, hey, walk me through what is possible here for Trevor Penning with such a disappointing start through 2 seasons and what could happen. So now that they've gone through camp and they've gone through the preseason, I am very curious to hear what John Stinchcomb has to say because there's been good and bad for Penning. By the way, Trevor Penning was the 5th highest graded player, not offensive line, player for the Saints against the Titans on Sunday. There was some not good, and there has been plenty of not good. But is there more good than not good to where you could start to see a trend up there? That's what I want to talk about with John Stinchcomb again, coming here in about 40 minutes or so. And tomorrow's the deadline to cut down to 90. And so you're going to start to see, you're already starting to see teams cut players. And it used to be that it was done in waves where you go from 90 to 53. Well, now it's 90, and then you have one cut down at the end of the preseason. So tomorrow afternoon is when teams have to be down to 53. So you'll probably start to hear some of that leak out, but it's a tough decision the Saints are going to have to make. Do you stick with Penning at right tackle? Obviously, he's going to make the team, but do you stick with him at right tackle? Is it Oli Udoh? Do you feel like there's somebody else? Or maybe a more realistic option, a better option would be You wait until 1,000 players become free agents because 32 teams are going to cut 40 guys, and you have 1,000 free agents, and you look and you go, all right, there has to be someone that's an offensive tackle with experience that shakes, that's a better option than what you have. And that could be what happens for the New Orleans Saints. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. Also, the Tigers landed a commitment on Saturday, and Aiden Anding. We'll talk about that in 20 minutes. It means they also missed on Jonah Williams. So we'll get to that here shortly. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen. They are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. If you're thinking about a new vehicle and you've never checked out a Volkswagen, what are you waiting on? Just put Volkswagen on your list, I promise you. I promise you that. Just test drive a Volkswagen and you'll understand when I say the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost. And at South Point Volkswagen, of course, you're supporting American jobs because those V-dubs are manufactured right here in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. It's South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's named Peyton Thorne at starting quarterback. Officially, although we already knew it. Thorne transferred from Michigan State to Auburn before last season, started 12 of the 13 games. Horn was battling a Hank Brown Holden Grenier in practice and four-star freshman Walker White.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Got a couple of stories here from Stark Vegas. Mississippi State will be without a pair of starters for the season opener against Eastern Kentucky. Wide receiver Kelly
Sound it out.
Akariai.
Nailed it.
Ariai.
Nailed it.
Akariai. Samsonite. I was way off. Knew it started with an S, though. Also, safety Corey Ellington. I got that one. That's pretty easy.
It's a layup right there.
Corey Ellington, he's not going to be available either. And Jeff Lebby also announced that running back Jeffrey Pittman no longer a member of the team following his first couple of seasons at Hines Community College. Had 54 carries in 11 games last year. Remember Woody Martin?
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
USC.
Ain't got no running backs over there, you know what I mean? Bama's burning. Not really. I mean, yes, they are really, but one of the final questions for Bama is who's going to start at right tackle. Is it going to be Wilkin Formby or Elijah Pritchett? Well, Kalen DeBoer, he's not saying. You want to know why, Muse?
I do. Why?
Actually, this was offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan, quote,
"Why is it
We'll wait until Saturday before we let the opponent know exactly what we'll look like."
Who's Alabama playing?
Oh, Western Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, by the way, you know who's the quarterback at Western Kentucky?
I do. TJ Finley.
It is TJ Finley. Saying, man, what if Western Kentucky goes into Bryant Dennehy Stadium? I'm not saying they're going to win. What if they go in there and just give them a scare?
Take them to overtime.
You know what I mean? Just take them into the fourth quarter.
Okay.
What if Finley goes and racks up 32 or something like that? Oh, I can't wait for Monday if that happens. I'm not going to be on
You're
air
not going to be here.
It's probably not going to happen. But anyway, who's next?
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, them. Kirby said Roderick Robinson had surgery and is out. He will miss some time. Had toe surgery.
Got a toe.
He's got a toe. You hate to hear it when someone's got a toe, Muse.
Yeah.
How do you run the ball when you got a toe?
Slowly.
5 games, 196 yards a year ago. He's got a toe. But they do have Trevor Etienne.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Etienne doesn't have a toe. No toes for Etienne.
No toes.
No toes. Arkansas and Baylor scheduled a neutral site game for the 2024-2025 season in Dallas. Oh, my God, this is basketball. Who cares?
The Florida Gators.
I totally misunderstood that when you handed it to me, Muse. Basketball right now.
I just threw it in there.
Muse.
I take them in order, whatever I see. I throw it in there and I let you decide.
You got to at least give me a heads up that was a basket. I was like, oh, Baylor and Arkansas playing a game. That's interesting. The two coaches right now, might have Aranda and Pittman, both probably won't be there. And then there's a basketball story.
That wouldn't be interesting in football either, for being honest.
It's a Power 5 non-conference. I do think it's interesting, or Power 4 non-conference. Are we going to continue seeing Power 4 non-conference games?
Oh.
Do you expand the league to nine game schedule? Does the Power 5 mandate, Power 4 mandate stay in that? Florida got a commitment from a 3-star receiver named Nashawn Montgomery.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And I'll tell you, this is the coolest thing Vandy's ever done.
Really? Okay.
I mean, this is hat tip Vandy. I'm being serious, by the way. Vandy has created a co-branded beer.
Oh.
With Jackalope called Conquer and Prevail. That's going to be available at their football stadium, which is named after a bank or something now. It's not Vanderbilt Stadium anymore. There it is. It's a
That's actually a really cool can.
It's a pale ale. I want to drink it. 5% APV. It'll be sold at Vandy home events. It's the Jackalope Tap Room in Nashville's Wedgwood, Houston neighborhood. They're also going to be using part of the proceeds to fund tuition for scholarships for families with income below $150,000.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Didn't I tell you this was the coolest thing Vandy's ever done?
That's good.
So now that you've heard this, do you agree with me that this is the coolest thing Vandy's ever done?
Absolutely.
Jackalope. The name of the brewery is Jackalope.
That's also pretty cool, yeah.
And that can looks awesome. The Commodore on it. Paulie, can you go full screen on that? The Commodore on the can. Look at the Commodore on the can.
I like it. I like the can. It's got a cannon, a little sword action.
It's got a sword and a cannon.
It's good stuff.
A hat and a mustache.
Too bad for
this
them.
This is the most intimidating Vanderbilt has ever looked.
It's on that beer can.
Ever.
Which is just kind of weird because no one thinks of party school when they think of Vanderbilt.
But I'll tell you what I do think of. I better be really drunk if I'm going to watch Vanderbilt play football.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame the LSU game's in Tiger Stadium because, I mean, LSU drank the stadium dry last time they were up there. So.
Oh, I have to tell you a story about 2019.
They could have sold a lot of beer.
I was there.
You were there.
And
That's right.
And I didn't go to the game. I'll tell you the story. I've got a break. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC and all that stuff. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. They're just the best. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah. They do indoor shutters as well. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Quick break. We'll come back and, I'll tell you my 2019 Vanderbilt story. And I don't know if you heard, but Dylan Crews is going to make his MLB debut tonight. And he's really good at baseball. We'll talk about that next at AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Duplessis Builders. I am so fired up, y'all. I don't know if you saw this. But my guy, Derek Duplessis, getting in the NIL space as well, supporting local athletes. And just yesterday, they announced a partnership with two LSU athletes, one current, one future. LSU receiver Kyron Lacey and future LSU 5-star running back Harlem Berry are the newest members of the Duplessis team. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. If you're watching, there's Derek Duplessis, Jordan Arsama, and Kyron Lacey. Fired up for these guys, man. Harlem Berry as well. It was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Hey, look, Derek Duplessis went to LSU. He's an LSU guy through and through, bleeds purple and gold. Had an opportunity not only to help build his company's brand, but also to help support student athletes. Jumped all over it. So, of course, do business with people that do business with the Tigers and the teams that you love. It's DuplessisBuilders.net. Looking for a pool, outdoor kitchen? DuplessisBuilders.net.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
I'm glad you're rolling along with us here. The lineup is posted. Pretty exciting stuff, man. Dylan Crews making his big league debut tonight. He is in the starting lineup. It'll be Nationals-Yankees, so I hope Dylan Crews goes 4 for 4, couple of bombs, 2 homers, double. Maybe just hit for the cycle. Let's go single, double, homer. Don't need to get greedy on it. But I hope the Yankees win 36-4. And that Crews is responsible for every good thing that happens at the Nationals. He's in the starting lineup. He'll bat second.
That's good.
He's going to play right field.
Okay.
I don't know, in all the Tigers and the Pros updates, have you seen him play in right at all in the minors?
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at that, but no.
So that'll be different. He can handle it, of course. But Dylan Crews will bat second. He'll be in the starting lineup. He's wearing number 3. I love that, too.
Love that.
You do have to love that he got 3. You just never know. Usually when you go up, you don't really get to control that and how it's all going to go. But you got to love this as well. So Dylan Crews, the Nationals released this video. It's Dylan calling his mom to let him know he'd been called up. Here you go.
Can you hear me?
What's up, Mom?
Hey, honey.
What you up to?
Oh, I'm at Wayne Dixie.
Rouse's.
Sweet.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Nothing much. Just hanging out here at the field right now. But you got any plans coming up this next few days?
Absolutely not.
Well, good, because we're going to come watch you play at Nationals Park against the Yankees on Monday.
Oh my God, honey. I'm so excited for you.
How can you not just grin ear to ear? And she's in the grocery store, so she's probably trying not to just yell exuberantly. But that's awesome, man. Good for him. I don't know if you remember, but Dylan Crews is a really good baseball player. Do you remember that he was really good?
I have a few memories, that he was decent at it.
Hit 380 for his career. He hit 426 as a junior. The last year that he played at LSU, Muse, I don't know if you know this, but they played 71 games.
They did.
He got on base in every single one of them. I'm going to say that again more slowly so you understand what I just said. In baseball, where it's really hard to get on base, he got on base in every one of the games they played. All of them, not just some of them, all of them. In 2021, he was the National Freshman of the Year. In 2022, he was a consensus first-team All-American and the SEC Co-Player of the Year, Golden Spikes semifinalist. In 2023, he won the Golden Spikes, the Bobby Bragan Collegiate Slugger Award, consensus first-team All-American again, College World Series All-Tournament Team, NCAA Regional All-Tournament Team, SEC Male Athlete of the Year, SEC Player of the Year, first-team All-SEC, SEC All-Defensive Team, ABCA Gold Glove Team, SEC Academic Honor Roll. He was on the Community Service Team as well, the LSWA Louisiana Hitter of the Year, and he was the SEC Player of the Week all the time. He's a really good player. Actually, he's literally the greatest player that LSU has ever produced, We can have a conversation, debate about pitchers, position players if you want, but if you're just talking about the greatest position player that LSU has ever had come through this program, the list starts with Dylan Crews. And we have got to remember that for all time. And today is monumental because you're going to see the first step that Dylan Crews takes in his big league career starting tonight against the Yankees, and I'm fired up for him. I don't even think this is just it's not even a September call-up because the roster, it's not September. But he's got his call-up. The Nationals stink. He's hopefully going to stay up the remainder of the year and never go back down and start taking steps toward the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame tonight. It's a big night. Y'all make sure you tune in and watch the Nats as Dylan Crews makes his debut. Hour 2 is next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You know where to find them, y'all. 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport. Because they buy diamonds for 9 stores, they're able to give you great prices and great selection. You see, Lee Michaels is this perfect sweet spot. There's the big box stores, but the problem there is it's very impersonal and it's cookie cutter. You're not going to get the best selection. And if you go to a boutique jeweler, they're not big enough to be able to offer you a great selection or great pricing. So Lee Michaels is that sweet spot. They're local. They're a Louisiana business that's been around for more than 40 years. They've got 9 stores, so they buy in bulk, so they can give you great prices. And when it comes to selection, if they don't have what you want, they can get it or they'll make it. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Check them out, lmfj.com, lmfj.com.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150. $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Less than 2 weeks before the season opener, ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Dallas holdout receiver CeeDee Lamb gets a new 4-year, $136 million contract. What effect could this have on other players?
Jamar Chase would like a new deal in Cincinnati. Brandon Ayuk would like a new deal in San Francisco. You'd like to see if this deal with CeeDee Lamb will have any bearing on any of those current unresolved contractual situations.
Adam Schefter, wideout Juju Smith-Schuster is coming back to the Chiefs. He played for Kansas City 2 years ago, the first of the Chiefs' back-to-back title teams. He played for the Patriots last year. Adam Schefter also reports running back Nick Chubb is expected to miss at least the first 4 games of the season on the PUP list, still recovering from a left knee injury. Dolphins offensive lineman Isaiah Wynn and linebacker Bradley Chubb will also miss at least the first 4 weeks on the PUP list. And Rams wideout Puka Nacua back on the practice field today for the first time since early August.
Hey, it's Courtney Cronin. Coming up Tuesday on Unsportsmanlike, the drama continues to swirl around Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Will they get everything figured out before Week 1? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Muse, before we get to the Hour 3 open, please extend the tail of that bet.
Okay, I'll do my best. It's just going to sound choppy, but I'll do my best.
I have faith in you, Muse. I have faith in you. All right, John Stinchcomb in 13 minutes. Excited to have Stinch here. He was on the call for the Saints 3 preseason games. Definitely want to talk to him about Trevor Penning, the quarterback situation, some of the defensive players who had jobs to win. We'll get to all that with Stinch here in about 13 minutes from right now. Excited to have him. We were keeping an eye on 2 commitments over the weekend, 2 prospects, targets, that were announcing their commitments over the weekend. And the Tigers split the pair. We knew how one of them was going to go. The one that had a lot of, we'll get to that in a second, the one that certainly had a lot of intrigue around it was Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams, the 5-star safety, the dual sports star out of Ball in Galveston. He was down to Texas, Texas A&M, LSU, USC, and Oregon, and ultimately it was the Texas Longhorns. We talked about it a bit on Friday, and the call that I had gotten Friday evening was that the young man was truly torn. It was a Texas-LSU battle to the end that felt like LSU had recruited him better on the baseball side. Texas recruited him better on the football side. There was a gap in the NIL offers, and it was significant. It was a 6-figure gap between what Texas offered and what LSU had put together, and LSU wasn't going to close that gap. So young guy had a decision to make, and I'm not saying it was all NIL, but when you get the ledger, put the line in the middle, and you're checking boxes, pros and cons, it came up Texas for him. So I think LSU certainly continues to recruit him until signing day to see how this may go. And I will also say I'm going to be very interested to see what happens in baseball, because I'll remind you, this is a young guy who, when you look to the summer 25 draft, he is a guy that projects as a first rounder. He is Connor Griffin. He is a guy that is a power-hitting outfielder from the left side. He also pitches low mid-90s, 93, 95 is where he touches from the left side. He is a big dude that hits with power and runs like a deer. I mean, he is, when you're building a prospect, he is what a 5-tool prospect looks like. So If some MLB team picks him and offers him $5-6 million, is he going to turn that down? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. But I'm going to be interested to see how that may play out. So for now, Jonah Williams is committed to Texas. We'll see if that sticks. We'll see if he shows up on campus. There are still questions there that remain. He says he wants to play both. And if he wants to play both, then he's got to come to school. But we'll see if the allure of the baseball draft maybe steers him away. But for now, Jonah Williams commits to Texas. LSU did, however, land a commitment on Saturday, and it was from Aiden Anding. And this was one that was anticipated. We thought that Aiden Anding would end up in the LSU class. He's a cornerback out of Ruston. And this is a big win for LSU because Aiden Anding was a guy who was leaning toward committing to Texas, didn't camp at LSU, as Shea Dixon told us, was leaning toward committing to Texas. When LSU gave him the committable offer, he pumped the brakes on that, came to the Bayou Splash, obviously, and, man, LSU ramped it up, and now Aiden Anding is a member of LSU's class. He's right at 6 foot, 160 pounds. He's a consensus 3-star prospect with elite speed, who you certainly think, as he plays his senior year, that star rating is and ranking is going to increase. I tell you all the time, I'm way more interested, not so much in star rating, right, whatever, as I am in the offers. And when you look at his offer list, it is long and distinguished. It is LSU and Texas and Arkansas, Miami, TCU, Southern Cal, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, Baylor. Dude's got tons of offers from major programs. So that's always going to weigh heavily. Watch his highlight tape. He's a really impressive young guy. And if Corey Raymond wants him, I'm good with it. So when you look at LSU right now and how this class sort of builds now for the class of 2025, getting Aiden Anding aboard is now your third commitment for the third defensive back, third cornerback commit for the class of 2025. You've got the number one corner in the country in DJ Pickett. Last week, you flipped 4-star cornerback Cade Phillips, who's from Missouri City, which is the Houston area. You flipped him from Texas to LSU, and now you've got Aiden Anding in the boat. So, this is the roadmap that Corey Raymond laid out. Florida, Louisiana, East Texas. That's where they've consistently gone to get their cornerbacks under Corey Raymond, and they strike here again. The one guy at that position that still lingers out there that you'd see if they might be able to get on board would be Jabari Antoine from New Iberia and Westgate. Currently committed. He had been committed to LSU, decommitted. Now he's committed to Miami. We'll see as you get closer to signing day. But if he wants to be a part of this class, that's a guy you absolutely take. But for now, you've got 3 cornerbacks in this class. And in total, you're up to 25 commitments for the class of 2025. The third-ranked class in the country, the second-ranked class in the SEC. Only Ohio State and Alabama currently outpace LSU, with still a long way to go before signing day and a lot of prospects still to add. So a big get to get Aiden Anding from the state of Louisiana to stay home at a position of need. And when we look at Jonah Williams, yes, it stinks that you missed there. You would have loved to have been able to flex and say you got the number one quarterback, the number one running back, the number one cornerback, the number one safety. But you're right there in it to the end for Jonah Williams. And I'm still going to wait and see how this all plays out between now and signing day. A couple of things that I was told on Friday. Jonah Williams is expected to skip his senior season of baseball and enroll early at, presumably now, Texas. So that obviously means a couple things. That means he would be enrolled to go through spring football with an eye, obviously, on being ready for the 2025 football season. But in skipping your senior season in baseball, that could lower his draft stock in the eyes of some scouts and teams who aren't then going to get to see him play his senior year. I'll remind you, a guy like Cade Arambidi, who's now on LSU's campus. Arambidi at this time a year ago was a projected first-round pick. Struggled at the plate his senior year, dropped down to be like kind of a top 100 guy, around 2-3 guy. He wanted a bigger number. He didn't get it, so he's on campus. So you see that sometimes. Alex Bregman. And Alex Bregman broke his hand. As we know the story goes, said, if I'm not a first-round pick, don't take me. I'm not coming. Didn't go in round 1. Came to LSU. So what happens in your senior year does a lot of times matter where your draft position is going to be. And so for Jonah Williams now, potentially, seemingly not having a senior season in baseball, what does that mean in the eyes of big league scouts? We'll see how that all plays out. But it's just complex because with Jonah Williams, you're talking about a major prospect in two different sports. Like, he's a top 10 prospect in the country at any position in football, and he's a round one guy, could be the highest drafted high school position player in next summer's draft. So, I mean, the best way I've heard it from one scout is he's Jamal Adams on the football field and he's Connor Griffin on the baseball field. So, I mean, think about merging those two guys and all the different complicating factors that makes for his recruitment and his professional career at the next level. But just another one worth following. So you swing and miss on Jonah Williams. You land Aiden Anding. 50-50 on the weekend for LSU, but you got a big-time prospect there from the state of Louisiana, one you desperately wanted and you got from Texas, which is great, and Aiden Anding. Okay, it's after further review. Y'all drink Evermore. Got Evermore on set every single day here. Make sure you pick it up. Hey, I would strongly encourage as well, as we talk to you about Evermore, go read a lot of their reviews, because what you'll see, and look, these are not like, there's no medical statements made or anything like that, but something you pretty consistently hear if you go read Google reviews and things like that from people who've tried Evermore and who drink it is things like it's helped them get rid of their reflux and things like that. And you could get to some of the science behind all of that with Evermore, but the bottom line is you're drinking a healthier, natural product. I would challenge you to go pick up a bottle of water, another brand, something maybe you drink all the time, and look at things that say like minerals added for taste. Think about things that are taken out or added to. Water isn't just water. Evermore is a natural artesian water from a natural artesian well on the North Shore, right there in Covington. The bottling plant is right there. The well is on the side of the bottling plant. It's Evermore. Drink Evermore. Evermore.com, Evermore.com. And shout out to Paul Walston as well, who sent me this picture of the Evermore he's got in his car. He said he found it in DFW on sale 2 for $4. So check it out. Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, and available at great local retailers. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for being with us here, y'all. Saints wrapped up the preseason on Sunday. Our buddy John Stinchcomb, former Saint great Super Bowl champion, was on the call for the Saints' 3 preseason games. Excited to have Stinch join us next. Talk a little bit about what he saw. That's coming up. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Rouse's. Of course, you can pick up Evermore at Rouse's, and you can pick up thousands of other items. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And one of the things that Rouse's, of course, is great at is always helping you save money. So if you're shopping, you're buying on a budget, you need to go make groceries, you haven't gone yet for the week, get by Rouse's, okay? They got the truckload sale going on right now. Great specials on tons of items, and they keep releasing more and more of them. Y'all, if you want Totino's, the party pizza pack, Muse, I know you're all over that, the frozen pizza, $6.99 for a 4-pack. Are you kidding me? What are we doing over here? Muse just hit the jackpot. Oh, I just saw that, Muse. I know you're fired up for it. A large 20-pound bag of Rouse's rice for just 20 pounds of rice for $9.99. Y'all, it's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Check them out online. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
It's hard for me to comment too much. I do think there was a few plays in there that I thought was an improvement without looking at it. The offensive line, defensive line, those are tougher evaluations just coming right off the field. But I thought overall, I know this. I know that I thought he played better in last week's game. I thought he improved this week in practice, and I saw some good things tonight too. So, I think there's some improvement being made.
Dennis Allen on Trevor Penning. Right or wrong, when you're talking about a former first-round pick, there's just going to be more conversation about him. John Stinchcomb, former Saint great, Super Bowl champion, was on the call for the Saints this preseason. Good enough to join us. John, it's always a pleasure, man. Thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Hey, we have referenced on the show routinely the last several months a conversation that you and I had the last time you were here after the draft. And you gave us some really insightful remarks about sort of paralleling the start of your career where you were a high draft pick, took you a couple of years, and then you went kaboom and became a great starting player. And we kind of looked at that as could Trevor Penning follow that path? Okay, so we talked about that hypothetical. They've had camp, 3 preseason games. How much progress do you see there with the former first-round pick?
I see progress. I don't know. I mean, if I'm going to be candid, I don't know that it's progressed to the point of starter caliber, but that's kind of inconsequential at this point because the Saints are going to rely on him to be that starter. I don't think there's another option in-house, nor do they have a lot of cap space, nor are they just kind of growing on trees that you can just pluck another one out and replace him with someone who could step right in. So I think there's going to be some pains that are felt this season, but there is opportunity for him to continue to get better.
So I'm glad you mentioned there's nobody in-house. Strange thing now in the NFL, it didn't happen when you were there. It was like you go from 90 to 53 in one day. Or really, I guess, in one cut.
Uh-huh.
What's the realistic possibility, John, that when 1,000 players become free agents tomorrow, something shakes and there's a better option than what you have right now?
I think that's slim to none.
Okay.
I don't think you're looking at teams that are going to keep their 3 best tackles, maybe 4. So their 5th best option is better than our 2nd. I don't think that's realistic.
So in your view, is Trevor Penning still the best option that the Saints currently have on the roster at right tackle?
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely.
How much of a?
I don't see
Sorry, go
anybody
ahead.
else here. No, that's it.
I was just going to say, how much is the gap then? Because if you're talking Oli Udo or someone like that, when you look at it through a very trained eye, what's the gap like?
I think you see a higher upside with Penning. I think his ability in the run game might get overlooked at times because of his shortcomings in pass protection. But it was highlighted a couple times on Sunday, just yesterday, that he can create some college-sized holes that are uncommon. I mean, one of the reasons they drafted him is just because of his raw power, and at times that is on full display. I think we haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg of what this offense will look like under Kubiak, and it's going to rely heavily on movement, outside zone, play action pass. That is to his advantage. I think he was a misfit, if you will, in the Carmichael offense, which is a lot of straight drop back pass for the quarterback. Everyone knows where it's the point of attack is going to get set, and you just have to be able to pass protect. I think that changes considerably once we take the field against Carolina. I think it should really help not only Trevor, but that entire offensive line.
How do you feel about Taliesin Fuanga at this point?
Yeah, well, you watch him play, and it's just a matter of reps for him. I mean, you see the talent, you see his football skill, his movement skills, the way he controls his body. When he makes a mistake, I think it's more of just experience and reps that he can get and be like, oh, I can put myself in a better position. I can use different techniques, but the athleticism is through the roof. The way he controls his body is exceptional, and you got a really good one in Fuaga.
That's great to hear. John Stinchcomb, former Saints great, Super Bowl champion, is with us, was on the call for the Saints in the preseason. Flip it over to the other side of the line of scrimmage. John, there's a lot of really interesting players there, right? I mean, Brian Brzee looked like he improved. Isaiah Foskey maybe not as much. You got a rookie draft pick on the defensive line, a teammate of Trevor Penning from college. It looks like he's probably has really a chance of making the team. What did you see from that defensive front in camp and in the preseason?
I see a lot more depth. I see a lot more variability. I think Chase Young is that X factor that takes this front to a whole nother level. I think it'll actually unlock Granderson and his ability. I think he gets overlooked at times just because we just weren't able to complement his skill set like we will this year. I think Cam is able to fill in a role that fits where he's at in his career much better. I think the progression of Brzee is real, and not only is he going to be a factor in rushing the passer, but I think he's much improved in the run game as well. So I think this group is one of the more improved groups just for maturation from Brzee and some of the younger players, and the addition of Chase makes a huge difference. So much improved group. I don't know about Foskey. I think he's the question mark for me. Do they give him another year to develop, or have they seen enough that, maybe it's just not panning out? So it'll be interesting to see what they do there.
Hey, do you think, John, or do you have a strong opinion one way or another about how they do the cuts now instead of in a series? It's just one day you go from 90 to 53?
Yeah, well, I think it dovetails better into only having 3 preseason games. I know by that last preseason game, if you don't have anybody playing, but yet you've already made those cuts, then you're asking guys that you wouldn't normally, quote unquote, risk to take snaps that are less meaningful for them. So you're a little bit more exposed. I think that's when guys are most concerned about getting injured in that kind of scenario. So I think a one fell swoop cut makes more sense, especially with a minimum 10 days of time to kind of figure out, do we like our 53? Do we going to try to pluck one or two players that we've identified that's now on the market?
If If there was a guy coming into camp, John, that maybe you didn't know or know a lot about that caught your eye, that you're like, man, that guy can play and should be an NFL player. Is there one guy that maybe like stands out that comes to mind?
Oh, that's a good one. Let me think about that. So, I was expecting more from the wide receivers. I mean, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but outside of Olave and Shaheed, there was a lot of opportunity for some of those guys to step up, both veterans and young players. And I think we saw flashes from Bub Means that, he's capable. He was getting open at times. There's a drop that he had yesterday, and it's just kind of limited opportunities for us to kind of evaluate him. So he would be someone that I think the Saints would want to kind of explore more, because there's opportunity in that depth chart for him to be more meaningful than some of the other players that were young. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a guy. I mean,
sure.
That first game and before his injury, I mean, he was kind of popping. You saw that there was play that appeared game ready. So in an area of strength, I think that's arguably the deepest pool of position group that the Saints have. He was a nice addition.
I got two more for you. Maybe this one's burying the lead because it's what I think all the fans are talking about today. How do you handicap Haener and Rattler at QB2?
Oh, it's so interesting because you talk to Derek Carr, you talk to Dennis Allen, you talk to Coach Kubiak, and they like both these guys. Both have that starter caliber performance that they've seen that probably most of us haven't in practice. They rave about the way they've approached the game off the field. So in the classroom, in the meeting rooms, the questions they ask, the development that they've had, Haener specifically from last year to this year, his moxie. I mentioned that Coach Allen described him similar to like Seabiscuit, where he may not look the part. He's not going to fit the mold of like a 6'5", 235 perfect, Adonis of a quarterback, but he's got a moxie to him, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he gets them into winning situations. And for Rattler, he's kind of a little more of a cool customer, and as we all have seen, I mean, he spins a pretty ball, and he can run and kind of escape and extend plays, and then when he needs to, he can get the first down by just his mobility. So they like what they have. It will be, hopefully we don't have to see either one of them, and Derek Carr stays healthy and has a great season. But I personally get the feeling, and from what I've seen, that throughout the season, even if Haener is the week one backup, I think Spencer Rattler is probably the higher ceiling player that probably earns that role at some point this season.
That's a really interesting way to phrase it. Last thing, John Stinchcomb is our guest. What do you do at running back, John? So 1 and 2, right? And number 3, I'd be interested to see what they do with the waiver wire. I actually think that that's a position group that we've seen flashes from guys. Cabote had a great game. I'm not sure that's the best fit with the system that he's in. So I think, he certainly helped himself yesterday. I thought he had a great game. But there might be other players that become available that the Saints feel is a better fit for that 3 role. Man, I always say it's never the final 53. It's the first 53 because they release those 53 and then, 1,000 other free agents will be out there. We'll see what roster movement comes after that, but it's always an exciting time. Preseason in the rearview mirror, head toward the regular season coming up a week from Sunday. He's John Stinchcomb, former Saint Great, good enough to join us for a couple minutes here. Enjoyed hearing you and Joel on the call, man. It's great to have Joel back in the city as well, and always good to hear your voice. We appreciate a couple minutes, John. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Who dat?
Who dat?
Great season.
That's John Stinchcomb. We appreciate his time. We're kind of spoiled, really. John and Joel. First of all, Joel's awesome in every sport. We know that. Like, he's one of the best NBA voices there is. We get him for NBA and then Saints preseason, and John does. I mean, you can just tell the depth and breadth of knowledge and the ability to communicate it. Like, it's one thing to know a lot; it's another to know it and be able to express it in a live game scenario. John does a great job. So, really enjoyed listening to those guys on the broadcast. The first one though against Arizona, something happened. I think they were taking somebody else's feed, like the cameras and all, like was because it was somebody else's feed for the first part of that game. Those two saved the broadcast because they're that good at what they do. I think they got it back on track, but they're great. We appreciate John for a couple of minutes whenever he can join us. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for being here with us. Got to remind you about our friends over at First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, make your first call to First South Farm Credit. Yo, hunting season's almost here. If you're going to spend another hunting season on someone else's lease and you want your own property, First South Farm Credit can make that happen. Yes, they've been first in agriculture for more than a century now. But also what you may not know is if you want to buy that recreational property, that hunting property, or you want to buy that land to build your family's dream home, your forever, First South Farm Credit can help. And with branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, they can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. So if you want to buy land in Texas or Mississippi or Alabama or Montana or Idaho or Iowa or whatever, they can help you. First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com. FirstSouthland.com. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review, about halfway home here. Brian Kelly met with reporters on Monday to preview USC. We'll let you hear a little bit more what BK had to say. A ton still that I want to get to. I have my thoughts on the QB2 battle that we'll get into, the 53-man roster cuts as they come down. As a matter of fact, I just checked. It's up right now at LouisianaSports.net, and I'll dive through it a little because I haven't seen it yet. But Ross Jackson, his final 53-man roster projection is up. It's on the homepage at LouisianaSports.net. So if you want to go check out after camp and the 3 preseason games, Ross's final 53 roster projection is up. Right there on the homepage, desktop, mobile, you'll see it right there. Go to LouisianaSports.net. I'll skim through it, and we'll give some reaction to Ross's final 53 here in just a smidge. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back on updated Heisman odds. Brian Kelly talking about USC. Ton to get to, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Right about the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. 2 amazing hotel properties, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. And, of course, you got Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel as well. I'll tell you all the time, Tallulah is a casual upscale dining experience. It's not like when you go into a hotel restaurant and it's just like a restaurant in the lobby of a hotel. Tallulah is a casual upscale dining experience. Chef Jason Hebert does an amazing job, a chef-crafted menu that will knock your socks off. I'm telling you, go to Tallulah, try the pork chop. If you're looking for something for lunch, go and get the hamburger. It's the best hamburger you'll eat in town. It's like $10. It's incredible. You got to check it out over at Tallulah. And they've been recognized, Tallulah has, by Wine Spectator as one of the top restaurants for wine excellence. At Tallulah, they have a curated wine selection that offers flavors from around the world, perfectly paired with their carefully crafted dishes for an unforgettable dining experience. Check it out today. It's Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Crews here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
It's time to make your picks for round 1 in this year's college football pick'em presented by Hooters. You can make your picks today at 1045ESPN.com. Weekly winners will be entered to win a 2-night stay at the Beau Rivage, and the first place season-long champion will receive a 75-inch 4K flat-screen TV and soundbar, plus a Hooters wing party for 10. It's the 2024 college football pick'em presented by Hooters.
So with week 0 in the rearview mirror, we also have updated Heisman odds as we start the season. This was Yahoo who kind of broke them down into tiers. And I think they actually kind of nailed it. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of easy to break it down into tiers when you have the betting odds. But here's the favorites. Dylan Gabriel, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, Will Howard. Will Howard, of course, the former Kansas State quarterback who's now at Ohio State. He's at plus 1,400. Dylan Gabriel leads the way, the Oregon quarterback, at plus 600. I'll continue to say this. I think Oklahoma screwed up. You can clip this. You can come back and laugh at me. I may prove to be dead wrong on this. But I am giving you this opinion based on the experience I've seen at LSU over the last decade. Zach Mettenberger came highly touted. His first year as a starter, good. Got better at the end of the year. Second year as a starter, boom. So the same thing with Joe Burrow. 2018, good. Got better through November. Then we saw what happened in 2019. Jaden Daniels. 2022 was a very efficient player. LSU won 9 games. 2023, Heisman. I understand Oklahoma had 5-star Jackson Arnold waiting in the wings. But you had the sure thing. The year you're coming into the SEC and you told that guy who won 10 games for you a year ago, you need to go because we're playing the kid. And I get it. You're thinking long-term, upside, make the 5-star happy, all that stuff. But you're also coming into the SEC and you're going to be playing a green quarterback against that schedule, and that's why your projected win total is 7.5. So I get it, but I don't get it. I think it was a dumb decision. And I think Dylan Gabriel is going to go have a great season at Oregon, and I think Jackson Arnold is going to take the lumps that you would expect for a guy that's starting for the first time, and a young player starting for the first time. The next tier, Cam Warden out in Miami, Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee. I got that down, by the way. How you like me?
I was about to say, that was good.
How you like me now?
Iamaleava?
Iamaleava. Got it.
About that.
Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times real quick. I can do it. Iamaleava, 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 Iamaleava. Give me a ding. You like them apples, bruh.
It was good.
Up here, pop. say there, Muse. I can't throw a ball, but I can say the Tennessee quarterback's name. Nuss, Riley Leonard, Avery Johnson, who's now the quarterback at Kansas State, and then Connor Wegman are in that next tier. I'm a little surprised. So the name I'm a little surprised is Miller Moss. The USC quarterback is in the long shots. And the reason I'm a little surprised, he's there with Noah Fafita from Arizona, Cam Rising, DJU, who's now out, Cade Klubnik, and Jaden Mayava, who's also at Southern Cal. He's a transfer. I'm surprised Miller Moss is so low and is a long shot because what are the unwritten prerequisites to be a Heisman winner? What are the unwritten prerequisites to be a Heisman winner? Give me some feedback.
Team success.
Quarterback.
Good stats. Yeah.
Right?
Brand. Playing for a brand.
Sure, but work with me here on all that as we get into the nuance. I'm saying like prerequisites, you got to be there. RG3 won a Heisman because he put up stupid stats and played quarterback on a 9-win Baylor team. Jaden last year. One thing I know about USC and having Lincoln Riley as a head coach, they're going to sling it, they're going to move the ball, and their quarterback's going to put up stats. They always do. So Miller Moss, I think, Miller Moss should be, in my opinion, clumped in the same number as Nussmeier. And that's why I think this weekend's going to be fascinating because we again, whatever you today as an LSU fan feel about Garrett Nussmeier, SC fans feel the exact same about Miller Moss. 4-star, high-profile guy, waited his turn, sat behind a Heisman winner, got all this experience. Now it's his turn. Had a chance to start in the bowl game, blew up, threw for nearly 400 yards. I mean, it's the same story for both guys. So whatever you think today about Nuss, they think about Miller Moss, except they got Lincoln Riley running that offense, calling plays. You have a new offensive coordinator. Now, I think the world of Joe Sloan. I think he's going to be fantastic. I genuinely do. But we know Lincoln Riley is. That's a given. He's done it. He's proven it. He's produced Heisman-winning quarterbacks and won and had great offense wherever he's been. So Brian Kelly today was asked about both guys in a similar situation. First, the experience of having had Nuss around this long.
Yes, I would say that, having a quarterback that has been in the system for the last couple of years, that knows what it looks like, what it's like to be in an SEC battle is certainly, and has played in a game against a pretty darn good defense. I think that, those things make you feel a little bit more at ease going into these games. But openers are difficult, right? You practice so much, right? And then you got to flip it to performance. You have to execute at a high level in your opener. So I think every coach has that uneasiness in the opener because they don't know exactly what you're going to get when you flip that script. And, with Garrett, he's been in games. He's started games. He's played 4 quarters. So there's a better sense, but, we've got to play a little bit more football.
We will only get the answer to these questions when they actually snap the ball and play 12 games. Like, it's why this week, when you woke up today, I don't know if you were like me. When I woke up today and it was Monday of game week, you kind of got the butterflies. Because you can go through fall camp, you can go to all the practices, you can go to media days, you can have all the talking head conversations you want. But now it's time to go play. Like all the things we've talked about and opined about, we're about to find out who's right, who's wrong, and then you assess there. Brian Kelly on Miller Moss.
You're really taking a lot of, what they did in the bowl game because, you've got a couple of weeks to prepare, right? And they had some time to really kind of settle in on what they felt his comfort level is. Now he's grown from there. He's had a spring practice and he's had, another 2.5 weeks. So, there's going to be more to the offense. But, you're going to take what Coach Riley has been successful with, and then you're going to look at their offensive structure and certainly begin to build your plan accordingly.
What that plan is, I think, from LSU's perspective, is going to be play coverage initially, try to cover man and bring pressure on Miller Moss to see how he deals with pressure and hope you hold up on the back end and your assignment sound. I think the worst case scenario for LSU is if that doesn't work and now you're dropping numbers into coverage and you're trying to play true with your defensive front, and they can't hold up. We don't know the answer to that. I hope they can with that LSU defensive line, a very veteran defensive line. I don't think you have all-conference or all-America players in the defensive line. But if you can affect Miller Moss at the line of scrimmage, that just, if your secondary struggles, what's the best way to help your secondary? Pass rush. And they've gotten creative in the ways they do it. We'll see if they can. Boy, it's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday. I'm looking forward to getting there, man. Be in that number. I'm sure a lot of you will as well. By the way, we announced this at the beginning of the show. Our friends at Mockler Beverage, Bud Light, great partners of ours and great community partners, official beer of the LSU Tigers. Mockler is giving me 6 tickets to take with me to Las Vegas. And I will, on AFR Friday, give away 6 tickets to LSU-USC. So if you don't have tickets or if you need an upgrade, here's a way to get it. So make sure, I'll tell you how you can enter as our week goes. We got time. As the week goes along, we'll tell you how you can enter. But you are going to have to be in Vegas to win these tickets. But we're very excited. We're grateful for our friends over at Mockler Beverage. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Okay, let me not get a break. Usually do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up the hour. When we come back next, we're glad you're hanging out. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, I don't know if you've noticed. I'm sure you have noticed, but it's like 100 degrees every day still. We haven't gotten as much rain. Maybe some of your flowers and your plants are dying, struggling a little bit. If you need help with what to do, the horticulturists over at Clegg's Nursery, they have the answers, y'all. They're so experienced. They've been around for 60 years. So if you're looking for certain products or certain plants or just help and advice, they have that know-how over at Clegg's. Get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. And listen, this is the time. I know I just told you it's 100 degrees outside and things are struggling right now because of drought conditions, but this is the time to get the seeds in the ground if you're planting your fall vegetable garden. And they've got Johnny Naylor seeds, and they got plants and flowers and shrubs and everything you need to get in the ground right now for the fall. So, get on by and see them. Any of the 4 locations. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150. $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques, Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Oh, I'm on.
I was curious there. I'm like, what are we doing?
Feeling it out.
All right.
Waiting for, was waiting for the rejoin, but the rejoin already played.
Yeah.
You're feeling it out. I'm getting there. Thanks to John Stinchcomb, who's here last hour. Great convo about the QB2 battle. Also about Trevor Penning. We'll get that clipped and posted here shortly. If you missed it, we'll get the whole interview up on YouTube as well. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Y'all, I don't know if you've noticed, but we like to fire hose content around here. Audio, video, written word now with LouisianaSports.net. We'll get the John Stinchcomb interview up on the AFR YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Also, we're short on time here, but I want to two things I would like to point out. Number one, our guy Muse here has taken over LSU Daily. So if you're looking for Muse's comments on LSU Daily, you can subscribe to LSU Daily if you don't already. Podcast and do we have the YouTube channel?
Not yet. It's coming. I was just talking to somebody.
Are we doing a separate channel? Or are we doing?
No. We're doing joint. I just
doing.
haven't squared everything away there yet.
So audio only right now.
For now.
Video coming. And then Hanny is moving HannyCast to YouTube as well. So our guy Charles Hannegriff, twice a week, a podcast he does with Richard Dixon, former LSU tight end Richard Dixon. So please go subscribe on YouTube. The audio podcast has been there 2 days a week, Monday, Thursday. So like a recap of the weekend, preview of the weekend sort of deal. They're moving to YouTube as well now. So please go to YouTube and subscribe to, it's just HannyCast, HANNYCAST for HannyCast. I believe that's all.
I think that is everything. Yes.
Okay. Muse. T-I-P.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Okay.
How do we feel about that one? Yeah? All right, let's start with baseball. We'll start with Dylan Crews making his Major League debut tonight for the Washington Nationals versus the New York Yankees. Playing right field, hitting second in the lineup, as we told you earlier in the show. Crews becomes the 86th major leaguer in the history of LSU baseball.
Sounds like a lot.
Joining Paul Skeens and Hunter Fiducia as the third former Tiger to be called up to the bigs this year. He is the second player under Jay Johnson to reach major. I think I put the wrong one in there.
Muse.
Yep.
Muse.
That's weird because it says 6 minutes and 27 seconds there, and that was not 6 minutes and 27 seconds.
That wasn't. That was definitely short of 6 minutes and 27
Yeah, it was.
seconds.
Well,
just play something else, Muse, and you got to keep going. This is radio. It's live. You just got to make it happen. So go.
I forgot to fix that too, apparently.
Or I can just go.
No, we're not going to do that. Kevin Gausman yesterday. Oh, this feels weird. 7 innings, 1 earned, 10 strikeouts. That matched his season high in strikeouts. Got his 12th win of the year as the Blue Jays beat the Angels. Oh, I should have just done this. This is my mistake. DJ LeMahieu yesterday. A little 2 for 4 day for the Bronx Bombers. Scored 2 runs as well. Both of his hits were singles. Alex Bregman with a big swing for the Houston Astros. Game is on now. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN if you're tuned in. Tied at 3 in the 7th inning. Bregman, solo homer for the lead.
There it is.
Shot to left field over that stupid wall and left. I don't know why they even increased it, but they did. 2 for 5 for Bregman with his 21st homer that gave the Astros a lead that they would never relinquish. Major League Baseball, NFL. Les Snead, the GM for the Rams, spoke with the media over the weekend.
What we're doing. We're just keeping DJ going.
Yeah, I think that's better than whatever that was. And when Les Snead spoke to the media, he confirmed that Omar Speights is making the 53-man for the Rams. Not only that, making the game day roster, the 48-man for the Rams as well.
Like, is that not the greatest indictment on Matt House?
Not yet. This is.
You can take my screen, by the way. Maybe not. Yep, you can do this. Wait. Yep, you can do the audio.
Okay.
Do my audio.
Tigers and Acid is back. Okay.
Tigers on Acid.
Tigers on, yeah. This is the greater indictment. PFF, highest graded rookie linebacker in preseason was Elmore Spades. That's the indictment on Mr. House. How about that? Yeah.
It was Matt House.
It might have been. Angel Reese had her third straight.
All the players completely dissing him on the field after the bowl game?
That didn't help. Angel Reese had her third straight game with 20 rebounds.
I'm sorry, what?
Angel Reese had her third straight game with 20 rebounds.
Come again. I think it sounded like you said her third straight game with 20.
With 20 or more rebounds. 22. That's Tigers in the pros.
All she does is get her own rebounds, though, right? That's how you get 20 rebounds.
You would think, but she also had more defensive rebounds than offensive rebounds in this last game. But a narrative, you know.
Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Always humbled by how many of you reach out to our sponsors and have been great partners of ours here on the show for so many years. And, of course, Joel McMullen and the great staff over at Michelli, the great team over at Michelli are in that number. Always encourage you to go to the website because their website is probably the best resource where you can learn all the things they do. Most people know Michelli from scales. I tell you, they're our nation's largest distributor of scales. But no matter where you're listening, and I can look at our online metrics and see where everybody's listening or watching us, if you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. And they'll do it anywhere. Sea to shining sea. They have physical locations in more than a dozen different states, and they serve companies in all 50 states. So if you need calibration of your precision measurement equipment, you need scales, you need Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli, Michelli.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Crews here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Cowboys wideout CeeDee Lamb ends his holdout and gets a 4-year, $136 million contract. $100 million guaranteed, including a $38 million signing bonus, which is a record for a receiver. Now, what about quarterback Dak Prescott?
I don't think this is any bearing on that at all. I think Dallas knew it was trying to re-sign CD. I think it was the next deal that they were going to get done. He was next in line, and now that he's done, they can begin to move ahead.
Adam Schefter on Carlin versus Joe. Baseball history in Boston. Red Sox catcher Danny Jansen becomes the first player to appear in the same game for both teams. Jansen was at the plate for the Blue Jays in Fenway Park 2 months ago when the game was suspended. Weeks later, he was traded to Boston, and the teams finished that suspended game today. The Jays win it 4-1. Vlad Guerrero Jr. with a 2-run double. Opening day at the U.S. Open in New York. Among the winners, Coco Gauff, Madison Keys, and Taylor Fritz. Right now on ESPN.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. A ton to get to as we move throughout this 5 o'clock hour. Brian Kelly previewing LSU-USC. Newcomers to keep an eye on. We'll let you hear plenty more of what BK had to say. Tomorrow at this point, Tuesday, we'll know the Saints' 53-man roster. Our guy Ross Jackson over at LouisianaSports.net. He's got his final 53-man roster projection up. If you go to the website right now, LouisianaSports.net, LouisianaSports.net, it's right there. The top story is Ross's final 53-man roster projection. And I do think it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on the a couple of positions in particular. For example, I know there's this 53-man roster quarterback question. Ross has the Saints keeping 4. Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, and then he notes Taysom Hill as a quarterback. I agree with him. There's been this idea that you're going to cut one of those guys maybe and try to sign him to the practice squad, but you're not going to run the risk of that happening because it happened to you a couple of years ago with Ian Book. You took Book in round 4. You kept him on the 53-man roster the first year. You tried to sneak him past waivers the second year, and he got plucked by the Eagles. By the way, Ian Book today was cut by the Chiefs. But anyway, I mean, you missed. But you're not going to run the risk of losing one of those guys who you used a draft pick on, you've invested a lot of time into, who could be your number 2 or your future franchise potential. You're not going to run the risk of losing him. So where do you lose a spot somewhere? I'll tell you the other thing that I found so interesting on here on Ross's 53. He kept 4 running backs. Now, he did not keep a fullback, and that's worth noting. But Kamara and Williams are the two we know that are going to make the team. What do you do next? And on Ross's projected 53-man roster over at LouisianaSports.net, he's got the Saints keeping Jordan Mims and Jacob Kibodi. Notice that means no Kendre Miller. And I don't necessarily think that it's surprising, but it is noteworthy. Because Kendre Miller's a guy that used a third-round pick on a year ago. And remember, Alvin Kamara was a third-round pick. Typically, you are counting on guys that are day 2 draft picks to be guys that are going to make your team and contribute. But Kendre Miller hasn't done that. He missed half of last season with the hamstring and ankle injuries. And he got injured this year, literally in the first day of training camp. And Dennis Allen, when he's talked about Kendre Miller, has been, he hasn't minced words about it. So when he says, really, we're just evaluating the college tape, that tells you where they stand on the player. And it would suck, but it's not unprecedented. I mean, I'll bring up the name, Stanley Jean-Baptiste. He was a second-round pick who didn't make the team his second year. They kept him around in his first year and in year 2, they cut him out of camp. It was that was a Rob Ryan guy, and that was a big whiff. So we've seen it before, and this could be the next. It was interesting because Bill Barnwell has a piece up at ESPN.com right now, and he's got potential trade targets for all 32 teams. Or trade candidates, I should say. And he listed Kendre Miller as a guy that the Saints may look to move. I would be all for that. My problem is, what in the world are you going to get for him? Like, who's going to give you an asset for Kendre Miller? I mean, I guess maybe you could get like a conditional 7th. If he makes the team and plays half the games, you get a 7th. Something like that, maybe. And I guess from that perspective, you're just cutting your losses and getting whatever you can because you feel like whatever you could get for the player is better than whatever you would get for him on the field, which that is a tough pill to swallow, man, for a team that is looking at a first-round pick in Trevor Penning who can't play, a first-round pick in Peyton Turner who can't play, Isaiah Foskey, who was a high second-round pick who can't play. And if you're talking Kendre Miller, who was a third-round pick, and you're looking to move him before his second season in the NFL, this is a massive indictment on this organization, their inability to draft. And I'll tell you, my hand's in the air, because when they had the 3-4 year run in 17, 18, 19, I mean, there have obviously been some misses, but when you had the run they did in the draft, I've said, hey, they deserve the benefit of the doubt. That wasn't the case after 14, 15, when you had the Stephon Anthony, Ha'oliki Kaha, Tavon Rooks, like those draft classes. They deserved criticism. They deserve skepticism. But when you're hitting on drafts, you deserve the benefit of the doubt when they make a move. And I've fallen in line there. But there have been enough misses now, especially at the top of the draft, to say you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt anymore. And that's kind of where I fall. So if you can cut your losses with this player and get something for him, you do it so it's not a total loss where you just cut him and you've wasted the pick. You get nothing. You get zero return on that investment. So what they do with Kendre Miller will be interesting. But at this point, I think he's a long shot to make the team. How do you keep a guy that can't stay healthy when you've got capable players? The running back position, though, is interesting because at times, if it was Mims or Kibodi, Robinson, they've all looked the part at times. And I get it, man. Kibodi is a Louisiana guy, played for the Cajuns, now with the Saints, scored 2 touchdowns in the 3rd preseason game, really acquitted himself very nicely. And Mims has probably been your most consistent back in the preseason. I'll tell you, those 2 guys give off Tony Jones Jr. 2020 preseason vibes. If you remember, that was the year where Tony Jones Jr. was the star of the preseason, had a great game against the Baltimore Ravens in the first preseason game, made the 53, and it just didn't translate to Sundays. Now he's still hanging around the league, but it just didn't translate to Sundays. I will be very interested to see if they keep one or both of those guys. My guess is that I agree with Ross in that they cut Miller, but keep either Cabote or Mims. And which one, your guess is as good as mine as far as that goes. You certainly have the sentimental favorite with Cabote because he's a Louisiana guy, prepped in Louisiana, played his collegiate ball in Lafayette, and now is with the Saints. Like, of course you're going to lean toward that guy. But I'll trust the staff's evaluation to say which of those guys do you want more, and that's probably even a better question for, again, after I just got telling you I don't trust the staff in their evaluation. But for Clint Kubiak on the offensive side, that's a guy who I guess we can still look at him and say, okay, who do you like? What do you want? Who do you trust? So we'll see what direction they go there. I think if you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, and this is where the roster crunching and the numbers crunching comes down. If you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, it's hard to justify keeping 4 running backs. Now, maybe the no fullback, if it plays out that way, is something that could alleviate that there. Just, again, keeping an eye on Ross's 53-man roster projection over at LouisianaSports.net. He's got 5 receivers, Olave Shaheed, Cedric Wilson, A.T. Perry, and Bub Means. 3 tight ends. He's got Johnson, Morrow, and Holker. The offensive line is the other one we're keeping an eye on. And the note here is they got Saldivari on IR, so he wouldn't count against your 53. But got Kyle Hergel making it, and Tremaine Antrim making it, along with Oli Udo, Landon Young, and then the 5 starters, Fuanga, Patrick, McCoy, Ruiz, and Penning. Boy, Kyle Hergel's a really good story, and he's played well, and I hope he makes this team. It would be great. That would be a great, fun story as well. Remember, Kyle Hergel's a guy we had on the show, started his career at North Dakota, the Sioux, not the Bison, the Sioux. Went North Dakota to Texas State to BC. And remember, we talked to him about becoming a captain at BC. He got to carry the American flag in the red bandana game. One of those guys that's really easy to pull for. That was a fun conversation we had, so I'd love to see him make the team. That would be really cool. Defensively, as I kind of make my way through Ross's 53, of note, he does have Isaiah Foskey making the team. I think that's in question. He's got Anthony Orji and Kalecki Hudson making it at linebacker. Has both Shamar Jean-Charles and Rico Payton at corner. 6 cornerbacks, could be a lot. We'll see. The 5 safeties, no surprise there because JT Gray is listed as a safety. And then has both Groupie and Headley making it on the specialist. So if you want to go see Ross's full 53 with the explanation, you can see right now at LouisianaSports.net. When we're talking to you tomorrow at this time, we'll know what the Saints' first 53-man roster looks like. There's always some surprises, so of course we'll keep an eye. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, tell you all the time. Patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Been telling you for years about that. Well, of course, my guy Jim Woodworth merged with my partners over at Parish to create Parish Restoration. ParishBuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab. ParishBuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab. I have people message me all the time. Text line, Twitter, everywhere. Hey, what's the mold thing you always talk about? Parish Restoration. Just hit the restoration tab. They'll come in, they'll spray half a day at your home. I mean, maybe not even a half a day. And you're not cutting sheetrock. You're not pulling out carpet. You're not taking things out of your home. It's as least amount of intrusion as you can imagine. They'll come in, they'll spray, close the doors, let the fog dwell. As soon as it dissipates, boom, you're back in. Free of mold, smelling clear and cleaning great. It's Parish Restoration. Commercial buildings as well. They have fogged one of the largest commercial buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So no matter how big or small, in a very literal sense, it doesn't matter how big the building is. They can help you at Parish Restoration. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab. Okay, y'all. We didn't get into the QB2 conversation there, which I do want to get to. But I want to take a minute to talk about the Kendre Miller convo because it looks like more and more Miller isn't going to be a part of the Saints in year 2, which would put him right alongside with a guy like Stanley Jean-Baptiste among the biggest busts that you can imagine when you don't even make the team. Like for as much as Peyton Turner has been a point of contention, and he's a former first-round pick who's contributed almost nothing. if he makes the team, he will have made the team for 4 years. Like Stanley Jean-Baptiste was cut year 2. Kendre Miller is on pace for potentially being cut year 2. And those are big whiffs to get nothing as a return on investment with those picks. We'll find out tomorrow. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. Interesting list of the top 100 college football newcomers, freshmen and transfers. There is an LSU player on it. He's a guy I think we're going to see play a big role Sunday night out in Las Vegas. We'll talk about it next. AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 50 years. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done. And count down the days, y'all. September the 8th is the deadline. Or is it the 9th? Go to getgordon.com/billboards. Getgordon.com/billboards. I think it's the 9th. Getgordon.com/billboards. If you want to enter the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys Design My Billboard contest, you can do it. Break out Canva. What are some of the other apps that you use for, Paul, what's some of the other photo apps you use to design stuff? What else you got?
I use Photoshop.
Photoshop, Canva. What's some other ones? Do people use Paint still? Microsoft Paint?
I'm sure you could.
Could. Design Gordon's billboard. You can win $2,000 in prizes and see your design on a billboard. Go to getgordon.com/billboards. Getgordon.com/billboards. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Brian Kelly met with reporters out at LSU on Monday. If you're putting together your football weeks, we are all doing the same here as well to remember what's going to happen now. Monday, noon Central, Brian Kelly meets with reporters for his Monday press conference. Next week, Monday's Labor Day. of course, so no press conference Monday. It'll be Tuesday of next week, but thereafter it'll be Monday, except the open dates. There's no press conference on Monday. So Brian Kelly met with reporters and went through some preview of the USC game and what's coming up this weekend. One of the things that I know we're all going to be very interested in seeing is what happens with the receivers, considering you're replacing 2 first-round picks, and not just the fact that they were first-round picks. You're losing a ton of production. Malik Neighbors last year, y'all, in case you forgot, caught 89 passes for 1,569 yards and 14 touchdowns. That's a lot of numbers. You don't have to remember it, but remember, 89 catches, 1,500 yards, and 14 scores. Brian Thomas, 68 catches, nearly 1,200 yards, and 17 scores, which led the country. Combine that, again, you don't need to math, but 157 receptions, 2,700 yards, and 31 touchdowns are now in the NFL. And the crazy thing is, we all feel like you're just not going to miss a beat. You're just going to replace that production with the guys you have. Now, for what it's worth, Brian Kelly mentioned today that Chris Hilton has a bone bruise, is officially questionable. He was asked, okay, if Hilton can't go, then who's the guy that you look at to step up and take Chris Hilton's spot?
Chris will move around today with our trainers. We'll get a better sense of his situation. Kyle Parker will be the next guy up in that situation. He's had a great camp. We feel really good about what he can do for us. And then we can start moving the pieces around a little bit. Xavier Thomas gets a little bit more involved in what we're doing relative to playing out at the field. So, we can move some guys around, but those would be the 2 guys that would be featured a little bit more. Aaron Anderson gets called on a little bit more, and then you can bump, Kyron out to the X as well. So we've got a lot of moving pieces where some guys know multiple positions.
The Xavier Thomas thing is interesting just because I think he's going to play a different role offensively. We've seen this. I'm not guessing. We've seen them run bubble screens with Xavier Thomas. We've seen them run jet sweeps with Xavier Thomas. That's not going to be Chris Hilton's role in this offense. Chris Hilton is more the Brian Thomas role, the stretch the field game breaker. You need to take your deep shot, and you want the dude that's going to leg it out. I mean, Hilton was a track star in high school as well. He has legit game breaking speed. That's why I've said many times, I think Kyron Lacy, CJ Daniels are your leading receivers in receptions and yards, but I think Chris Hilton, provided he's healthy, leads you in receiving touchdowns this year, because when you're looking to take a shot, when you need the game breaker, that's Chris Hilton in this offense. I don't think Hilton has 90 receptions like Malik Neighbors did a year ago, but I could see Chris Hilton having 50 receptions and 15 touchdowns. I could see that as a very real possibility. But it's interesting because ESPN today looked at and listed the top 100 newcomers in college football. And so that's freshmen, that's transfers in a new spot. And in the 100 that they listed, they did list an LSU player, and the LSU player that they listed was CJ Daniels. And that is 100% right, because CJ Daniels, we all know, was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago, and we talked about that plenty, and it was very evident right away that he was a guy that the size, the ability, the athleticism, all that stuff was going to translate right away to the SEC. And you saw it in spring, and it completely is carried over here in fall camp as well. He's a guy that I think you will right away insert into that spot that I'm not going to say like Brian Thomas a year ago, because I just got done telling you I think stylistically that's the role Chris Hilton fits in this offense. But I'm talking about the production. If Kyron Lacy sort of more mirrors what Malik was, I don't think he's going to have 1,500 receiving yards, but I think Kyron Lacy's year this year could look like Malik's did in 2022. And 2 years ago in 22, Malik had 72 catches for 1,017 yards. And I think that is very realistic and approachable for Kyron Lacy. I think he could have 70 catches and 1,000 yards this year. Remember, Kyron last year had 30 for 558. So it's very reasonable to expect that Kyron Lacy could double those numbers, that he could go 65 catches for 1,000 yards, 70 catches for 1,000 yards. I think that's very realistic. Daniels is the guy that I think is sort of the wild card in that mix, because you're trying to replace 157 catches. I'm making this math, and I'm not trying to math on the radio, but it's 157 catches. So if Lacy goes from 30 to 70, well, that's there 40 of those catches. So you still got 110 grabs somewhere. Could 50 of them go to Hilton and 50 of them go to C.J. Daniels? Yeah, I think that's how it breaks down. I think if you asked me today to put numbers on it, I think Kyron Lacy would have 70 or more, and I think Daniels and Hilton have 50 catches, thereabouts. And then you look at the dozen, 20 catch range thereabouts for guys like Kyle Parker, Xavion Thomas, Aaron Anderson, who of that mix emerges. But I think for Xavion, it's less the targets and more how they use him. The bubbles, the jet sweeps, those sort of creative ways that they use him, and not just, hey, go on a route and catch 50 balls for us. I just think it's going to be a different way they use Thomas and Aaron Anderson. Of course, Xavion Thomas is going to be your punt returner and your kick returner this year as well. Let me know your thoughts. Agree, disagree with how they use those receivers. But I'm telling you, not based on just something that I'm piecing together. It's from going out to a dozen practices and watching how they use these guys. And Daniels is a guy that also really felt like very quickly emerged as a security blanket for Nussmeier. When there was coverage, and if things were, I don't want to say breaking down, but he had to make a decision to get rid of the football, Daniels time and again felt like the guy that would pop open over the middle of the field. We're watching scrimmages and it's 3rd and 4 and Nuss is patting the ball, looking for Daniels over the middle. Like that's the safety blanket. I think you're going to see a lot of that with C.J. Daniels this year. It's 3rd and 4. Who do you go to get the grab to move the sticks? Daniels. That's how I foresee that going. So putting C.J. Daniels in the top 100 transfers, impact transfers, I agree. Or newcomers with freshmen and transfers, I agree, because he's a guy who physically fits the mold, and they're clearly they're using him, and Nussmeier feels comfortable there as well. All right, it's after further review. Now, I'm glad to have you hanging out. We're brought to you by Optimize, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. You know what's interesting? I was thinking about this, not that I want to wish this at all, but it was this week, 3 years ago, when LSU was getting ready to play UCLA, and Ida had come through, and we were, of course, traveling out to LA for the game, and I left Baton Rouge, and Drew and Erica were here, and we didn't have power at our house still, but I had to go to cover the game because we had everything sold and the trip planned, and all that stuff was planned months and a year in advance. So Erica and Drew went and stayed at her parents' house until we got power back. It's a terrible feeling, man. Leaving my family, we didn't have power at our house. So, thankfully we had family here that they could stay with, but we'll never have to worry about that again. That was the deal. That was the breaking point for me. Ida was my breaking point. We had a generator installed after Ida, and I just couldn't recommend it highly enough. We've all lived it. Storm comes, knocks the power out. You're in line for gas. You're in line for ice. There's no hot water. You can't cook food. Your life is massively inconvenient. I never have to worry about it again. So I would encourage you to do the same thing, to call Optimize or go online to generatorpeople.com and learn about your options. They give you upfront pricing where you know the exact price quote that they give you. That is the final price. It's not like, here's the price, then when you get it, it's like all these different fees that have been added. No. The price you see that they quote you is it. That's the price. You got $600 for a down payment. They got a financing option to meet any budget. Generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Get that process started today. Go to Optimize, generatorpeople.com. That's generatorpeople.com. They service the entire 1012 corridor. So no matter where you are in South Louisiana along the 1012 corridor, they'll come to you. Lake Charles to Slidell, anywhere in between. Generatorpeople.com. All right, y'all. It's after further review. Glad you're here with us. We're all very fired up about this game coming up on Sunday. And LSU opens the next 2 seasons with Clemson, home and away. But Brian Kelly sort of alluded to the fact that that could be it for these openers. And I got some thoughts on it. So we'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Go to the website. When I tell you this is the most user-friendly website in real estate, that's not just a line. It's easy to navigate, and there is literally every home on the MLS right there in one place. So you don't have to jump around at different sites. Some things are blocked off. No, it's all there. And Darren does such an amazing job of building a client database. So if you're thinking of selling your home, he's got so much back-end data to know who is looking for exactly what you're selling. That's why he can give you a list of potential buyers immediately before you even list your home. So if you're buying or selling, you need the best. You need Darren James. Agent225.com. That's agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Rev delivers our coverage live from Las Vegas, starting Friday, August 30th with Off the Bench and After Further Review, and continuing Sunday, September 1st with Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Our coverage is also presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel to kick off the 2024 LSU football season live from Las Vegas with Rev 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
I'm checking the text line. Remember, you can always text the show on the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Hunter St. Cyr sent a text and said, is scone and tea a thing this year? Interesting that you should ask. So many of you know that T-Bob and I host Whiskey and Wine. So after every game, as soon as the game goes final, we go live on Whiskey and Wine, and that, of course, is back. We, for the past several years, have done a podcast, Scone and Tea. A lot of people liked Whiskey and Wine. We figured we can carry it over to another property during the week. And there was just logistics and a lot of things that went the way, but quite literally today, they pushed it across the finish line. So Scone and Tea will be returning. The target is a week from 2 weeks from Thursday, the 12th of September. So yes, we are planning to be coming to you live from Curbside, a great burger joint in Baton Rouge. I shouldn't call it a burger joint, but Curbside is awesome. It's right on Government Street in Baton Rouge, and great. It is a great spot in Mid-City. And they have redone their outdoor and their patio. It's all fenced-in area. It's very family-friendly, where parents can come, have a beer, a glass of wine, eat a great burger. Kids can go run outside, and they're fenced in. You don't have to worry about where they're. So it's perfect, and we're really excited about it. We literally, I was told today, I might be jumping the gun because I don't know if it's if documents are signed, but I was told it was all confirmed today, and we're shooting for the 12th as our target. So yes, Scone and Tea will be returning. It's football season, y'all. I mean, we're just fire hosing content right at your face. Look at views. We have 10 hours of local radio. We post-produce everything on our YouTube channels. Muse is picking up LSU Daily, which I was doing, but now I'm doing Locked on LSU. So please subscribe to both. If you want my daily LSU pod, it's Locked on LSU. Muse will be picking up LSU Daily. Hannycast is back. That's Charles Hannah, Griff, Richard Dixon. They recorded their first episode today. That's a Monday-Thursday release. Scone and Tea, Whiskey and Wine.
Whiskey and Wine.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Pre and post.
Pre-post.
Is that it? Or did we miss something else?
That can't be it. I'm sure there's more. Oh, we launched this whole new website called LouisianaSports.net.
About that.
By the way, if you're a business owner, we are giving this thing away at the beginning. And I'll tell you, it's the same model that we used when we launched 104.5 ESPN 14 years ago. We had something called the Players Club package, which was dirt cheap. And it was like, grow with us, was the whole premise. And you could literally get involved at LouisianaSports.net for as low as $300 a month. I mean, we are giving it away. So if you're a business owner and you'd love to partner with us at LouisianaSports.net, we would love to talk to you about that and let you know what opportunities are there. So you can go to LouisianaSports.net, reach out to me directly. We'd love to let you know everything that's available. So we're excited. It's an awesome start. It's football season. It's everybody's busy time here, and we're fired up for it. I am fired up for, yes, Bubba Smith said morning scone.
Counts. That counts.
Yes, I do morning scone every day. There's got to be other stuff that I'm just not thinking of right now.
Yeah, I mean, some things look through. I mean, we literally failed to mention the website there for a minute.
Well, I was just setting it up.
Oh, okay.
I didn't forget. That was like a literal, oh, by the way, we also did this thing. That's how I was doing. Sorry if that fell flat. I'm fired up for the opener against SC, but it may be the last time we see something like this. LSU has a home-and-home setup with Clemson for the next 2 years. They do have a future home-and-home with Arizona State as well, but this sort of thing might be going the way of the dodo bird. Brian Kelly was asked about, with realignment and everything now, an expanded conference and potentially expanded conference schedule, about playing games like this.
We're not playing this game just because of money. We're playing because you've got two teams that shared a national championship. You've got two elite programs coming together. That's the reason why we wanted the matchup. And it was before, the conference had obviously changed, them going into the Big Ten. Moving forward, these may not be the kind of things that you see relative to openers. So, again, I think we were too far down the line to want to make any changes with this opener.
I'll I'll translate all this. If the league goes to 9 conference games, we ain't doing this anymore unless everybody's got to do this. I mean, Nick Saban was the one that pounded the drum that said he wanted the Power 5 at the time to play all Power 5 opponents. He wanted to do away with the garbage games, the body bag games, the money games, the things that I've said forever. But it's when Nick Saban's saying it's different. But no one is going to be the first to go do it. Like, who's coming with me? Jerry Maguire just standing there with the fish. Like, I mean, you got to have agreement because you're not going to choose to put yourself at a disadvantage. Look at SC this year. Like, you realize what SC's schedule looks like. Remember, the Big Ten plays a 9-game conference schedule. So SC has those 9 conference games, Notre Dame, who they play every year, and LSU. So in their first year in the Big Ten, 11 of their 12 games are Power 5 opponents. Like, you wonder why Lincoln Riley was trying to get out of the LSU game? I don't blame him. Why would you choose to put yourself at a disadvantage when nobody else is playing those games? Look at their schedule. They go LSU, then Utah State, and then it's the gauntlet. Then you don't get another break. At Michigan, Wisconsin, at Minnesota, Penn State, at Maryland, Rutgers, at Washington, Nebraska, at UCLA, Notre Dame. There is no breather anywhere. So I understand what Brian Kelly's saying. So if you want to continue to see games like this, then you have to have uniformity across the Power 4. And I've told you, in my opinion, what I feel is an inevitability is we are going to head to a point where you do not see the garbage games that nobody wants to see anymore. You're right now in a 12-game conference schedule in the SEC. You've got 8 SEC games and the mandated 1 Power 5. That's 9 of the 12. 3 of the 12 games, a quarter of your schedule, are trash games that nobody wants to see. Literally. There is not a soul listening to me who gives a good gosh darn about LSU and Nichols, LSU South Alabama. Thankfully, you get SC and UCLA. Those are interesting. Go down. Have you looked at the college football schedule for this weekend? There's a handful of games that are interesting. Everything else is trash. Look at who the top 25 is playing. I mean, NC State's playing Western Carolina. Hang on, let me pull the full top 25. I can't find it. I don't care. There's like 5 games. I can't find it. To hell with it. It's just, you get Georgia, Clemson, of course, LSU-USC. Who are the other ones?
Penn State, West Virginia. Does that do it for you?
Sure.
Miami and Florida.
Miami, Florida.
And Notre Dame and Texas A&M.
That's it. Those are the 5. It's 5,
that's
right?
It.
That's it.
The 5.
Missouri's playing Murray State. Kansas is playing Lindenwood. I'm talking about ranked opponents. I'm talking about ranked teams. Utah's playing Southern Utah. Oklahoma's playing Temple. Georgia, Clemson. Penn State, West Virginia is not a ranked-on-ranked matchup. Iowa's playing Illinois State. Tennessee's playing Chattanooga. Oklahoma State's playing South Dakota State. Ohio State's playing Akron. Welcome to the Big Ten. Well, they've been in the Big Ten. Texas is playing Colorado State. You mentioned Miami and Florida. That's not ranked, but it's a Power 5 matchup. At least they tried. Ole Miss is playing Furman. Kansas State is playing UT Martin. Michigan's playing Fresno State. Arizona is playing New Mexico. And that's it. It's trash. It's a trash opening weekend, except for the handful of games we mentioned. You want to see more of it, you have to have uniformity. You have to have all of these schools collectively agree to say, we are going to do this scheduling moving forward. And that only happens whenever the power schools break away to do their own thing, which is going to happen, and I can't wait for the day. You know what else I can't wait for? The next time I get to go to Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for reservations. Y'all, football starts this weekend. You know that. I'm going to remind you this again. I'm going to keep hitting you over the head about this. A lot of you, listen, you've been to Supper Club. You love it. If you haven't been to Supper Club, you need to go. It is a one-of-one dining experience, not only in Baton Rouge, but in Louisiana, and it is a rare dining experience in this entire country. Like I've told you about the herb beef that they sell, there are 3 restaurants in America that sell this Japanese herb beef. 3. 2 of them are in New York, and then Supper Club in Baton Rouge. Literally, that's it. That's the list in the entire USA. Listen, you want to go have a USDA prime steak? You can. For the same price that you'd pay at any other fine dining steak restaurant. You want the one-of-a-kind steak experience? You can have that at Supper Club. You want the $5,000 bottle of wine? They got that in their cellar, but they got everything else that you drink as well. So no matter what experience you're looking to have for dining and budget for at a fine dining restaurant, you can do it at Supper Club. You can go be a baller and drop 10 G's if you want. Or you can have a great date night with your wife, entertain some clients, and have the most magnificent meal and experience you'd ever want. And y'all, football season's here. Friday nights are going to be massive. They always are. Friday nights, especially before home games. So book your reservations now. Don't wait for this, y'all. Like, please don't wait for this, because what's going to happen is Ole Miss week's going to roll around. UCLA's coming to Baton Rouge. It's Bama week. It's Oklahoma, whatever. And you're going to say, oh, let's go to Supper Club. And they're going to be book solid. Like, have some foresight. Think ahead. When do you have family coming in? When do you want to do a date night? When do you go out with friends? Pick that date. Call Supper Club. Get your reservations now. SupperClubBTR.com. 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 Okay. Excuse me. Final break. Come back. Outer Locks is next. Do we have anything else I missed? Oh, Outer gave us the pick. Hold on. Is this underway already?
Yeah, it's Cleveland. The Guardians on the money line.
Okay.
Game 2 of the doubleheader.
Is it underway?
Yeah, it got underway at 5:40.
Let me see.
So, I mean, there should be no score. Yeah, it's scoreless in the top of the first, although the Royals definitely are at third.
Okay. Top first, 2 outs. Royals, Guardians money line. Guardians money line is the first one Outer gave. We'll get the rest of Outer Locks next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Hey, we're brought to you by River City's 1 hour air. Sorry, I did the wrong one. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You know where they are because they're everywhere. You drive around town, you drive through your neighborhood, you're on I-10, you're on Airline Highway, you're on Highland Road. You're driving through any artery in Baton Rouge, you're going to see those big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side because so many of your friends and neighbors do like I do. They trust River City's 1 hour air. They've been around for 40 years. They do exceptional work. They're honest. And I'm going to tell you something that I experienced again here just in the last month. I've told you the AC in our bedroom went out. We had to have it replaced. It was original unit on the home since 1997. It was time. We replaced the AC. The most impressive thing is they recommended the AC replacement. Before they would move forward with it, they had a field supervisor come back to walk through the work again to make sure that was the recommendation. Once we did it, the install, now we have scheduled for the field supervisor to come back behind their crew to make sure everything was done to code because the quality of the install matters for the life of the unit. It's River City's 1 hour air.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150. $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Crews here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you, our mobile bank.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. Of course, love telling you about our friends over at Relief Windows. They're just the best. Windows, doors, siding. They do indoor shutters as well. Wood windows with a lifetime warranty. Sounds like a punchline. Not a Relief Windows. They're the best. Call Brandon, Holly, and the gang over at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Yeah. Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, what's good?
What's happening, man? How are you? How was your week 0?
I loved watching football. I was taken aback by Georgia Tech just running roughshod over Florida State. Didn't see. I could have been convinced Georgia Tech would win the game. I didn't think they would win it the manner in which they did.
Yeah.
I did watch the SMU game. Surprised at the way they struggled. So I mean, we go through the entire offseason convincing ourselves of certain narratives, and then they tee it up, kick it off, and you realize we're all stupid.
No, tough day for the betting public, or tough on Saturday. So, I mean, they were all over the minus Georgia Tech, but you did have some money line parlays busted up with that one as well. And yeah, I mean, all the line movements minus Georgia Tech got smashed pretty good in the other ones. So, I mean, a lot of fourth quarter comebacks, and then Hawaii extending their short fourth quarter lead. But no, man, much more competitive than I ever expected. And good day to take the dogs, 4-0.
Hey man, I had a parlay. It was Florida State first half and Florida State money line with a boost, so it got me almost to even money. And of course, they needed the field goal at the end of the first half to tie, and then I needed them to win the game, so I'd push. And of course they lost the game. So not a great start for you, boy. But let's win some back. So we gave the bet already that you gave. Cleveland tonight on the money line. They're I think in the bottom of the first now, but we got Cleveland on the money line. Was Otter's first play in game? Otter, I'm looking at Cleveland minus 270.
Yeah, Kansas City had first 2 runners on, first and second, nobody out, but could not get anything across. And now Cleveland with 2 on, nobody out, and probably a third place finisher for the AL MVP Jose Ramirez up at the plate right now. Cleveland lost the early game 4-3.
Okay.
This is a day-night doubleheader, and with the win, Kansas City closes that lead to just 1 game in the National League Central. So we've got the Guardians bouncing back and trying to split this doubleheader. But yes, it's at minus 125 is a lot better than minus 270, which it is right now.
Yeah.
So the live betting is too late. So we're going to go out to Seattle tonight, 1 play in Major League Baseball. And we know about the Mariners. That 10-game lead is now a 6-game deficit behind the Houston Astros. And this is Tampa Bay's best starting pitcher, Pepiot, throwing today for the Rays. And Rays were very competitive, lost 2 out of 3 in Chavez Ravine against the Dodgers. But this is just a tough matchup for the Seattle bats right now. Pepiot in 7 straight starts has given up 2 or less earned runs. So, and in his last 17 1/3, he's only given up 2 earned runs total. So Tampa Bay plus money for a dog on the road at Seattle late tonight.
All right, that's the only play?
That's it.
Okay,
That's
by the
it.
way,
So,
I'm looking at the DraftKings app. They got a 50% profit boost on any MLB bet today. So if you go, let me see, let me 1 second. Where is it? I lost it. All right, if you go money line, Rays plus 110, you throw that, it gets you to plus 165. So
Any boost, any percentage, any bonus bet, of course, take minus the single game parlays.
Yeah.
That is juice to the moon. So I'm not a big fan of those.
You have taught me well. I love to take the boost and the bonuses whenever we see them. Where are you tomorrow?
We are at Dozy Place, our last show in Baton Rouge before all the festivities down in Las Vegas. Max will be doing a show Wednesday for our travel day. So we're excited. 2-0 Guardians with Ramirez 2-1 double.
God dog it! I should have laid a 1.5.
Charlie and I got to do lifeguard training for the shows at Stadium Swim. So.
Hey, I don't know if we're going to see you at Circus Swim on Friday, but we are going to be there Saturday for the game, so I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully we can get over there after dinner Friday and see you guys, but if not, we'll be there Saturday.
We're expected close to 1,000 for the downtown pep rally. Our friends at Fred's Bar and Grill, they're going to come over to the show tomorrow to tell us how they're rolling this whole thing on 3. Shay Dixon to talk to them. So we're going to have a little party. And us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, we have an area as well. That's awesome. That's the partners in crime for downtown pep rally. Got an RSVP or it's a $60 cover. So come on, see us.
All right, Otter. We'll see you in Vegas, man. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
All right, that'll do it for us here. Again, Otter giving you Cleveland, which is in game, and they're already up 2-0. Tampa Bay on the money line is the other play. All right, it's going to do it for us. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. You can book your tee time at golf.breck.org. Big shout out to Relief Windows, our title sponsor every single Monday. Muse, Paulie, appreciate it. Y'all have an awesome night. Golly, it's football week. It's football week. See you tomorrow.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. You need new tires? You go to Shawbills because they're going to sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. I love telling you every day about the Charlie's Dozen. That's a dozen benefits extended to you and your family when you buy tires at Shawbills, like free tire rotation, free balancing. It's free tire repairs for the life of the tires. But the other thing that's probably even more impressive, if you go to the website, ShawbillsTire.com, you scroll down, you'll see the customer, what they call their customer bill of rights. It's rights that they feel like you, as the customer, are entitled to when you shop at Shawbills. Things like you're entitled to fair pricing. You're entitled to not be upsold on anything. You're entitled to a clean place to wait while your vehicle's being serviced. Go to ShawbillsTire.com. They're just the best. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you.
That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.